Chapter 1449. Golden Core. Xiaoping extended his hand and immediately picked up the golden core that had fallen to the ground. At that moment, there were several cracks on the golden core that was the size of a glass bead. It seemed to have suffered quite a bit of damage. However, it still did not affect the mysticism of the golden core. It emitted a mysterious aura that contained majestic energy. "Congratulations, Master. You've obtained a golden core. It's very useful." The green ox said excitedly. "Useful? What's it used for?" Xiaoping asked curiously as he looked at the golden core. The green ox said, "If ordinary people obtain a golden core, they can use it as a great killing weapon. If they throw it out at a critical moment, they can immediately detonate it and kill the enemy." It indicated that it could be used as a trump card. If ordinary cultivators had a golden core, no one would dare to provoke them easily. Of course, this is a great killing weapon for ordinary cultivators. However, if it falls into my hands, it'll be completely different, the green ox continued. "I'm proficient in a supreme alchemy technique that can wash away the impurities in the golden core, leaving only the purest energy. Then, I'll use other spirit herbs to condense it into a pill for Master to absorb." One must know that a golden core can be considered the essence of a golden core perfected one. Many years of cultivation are gathered in the golden core. The energy contained in it is unimaginable. It has at least 1,000 years of cultivation. If you can absorb the energy inside the golden core, you can save Master a lot of cultivation time. It's equivalent to a supreme holy herb with endless benefits. What? Xiaoping's eyes lit up when he heard that. If there was a way to refine the golden core and take all the golden core perfected one's cultivation for himself, it would be a shocking fortuitous encounter. He did not expect the green ox to have such a secret alchemy technique. It was simply unbelievable. After being in the universe for such a long time, he had seen many things. He naturally knew that the golden core contained the cultivation and willpower of others. It was very difficult to devour and absorb. Once one tried to forcefully absorb it, there would definitely be many impurities in one's body and signs of poisoning. This was the so-called poisonous golden core. He did not expect the green ox to take the golden core's energy for himself and condense it into a pill. This was a heaven-stealing act. If news of this were to spread, countless cultivators would go crazy to snatch this secret technique. If this supreme alchemy technique were to spread, there would definitely be many bloody storms in the universe, and a large number of golden core perfected ones would be killed. When Corinne heard this, he was also shocked again and again, because even he had never heard of such a secret technique. It can only be said that this mountain river sage was really an incomparably tyrannical sage, an alchemy grandmaster of a generation. Unexpectedly, he could also create such a secret alchemy technique. In terms of alchemy alone, even his old master could only look up to him in the dust, and was far from being able to compare. "Good, very good. Then quickly wash away the impurities in this golden core, and refine it into a medicinal pill," Xiaoping immediately said. The green ox said, "Yes, Master. It's my honor." It put away the golden core, and planned to start refining pills. It seems like these lost people have quite a lot of good stuff on them. Xiaoping reached out and collected all the space rings on the lost people. He sent the senses of his soul into the space rings, and immediately discovered that there were many spiritual herbs and pills inside. Even each spiritual herb contained abundant medicinal power, which was more powerful than the spiritual herbs in the outside world. He immediately understood. Although the environment of this planet was very harsh, with savage beasts living everywhere, the spiritual qi was very rich, which was equivalent to a supreme paradise. In a place like this, it was naturally much easier to obtain 1,000-year-old and 10,000-year-old spiritual herbs than other places. What are these? Are they beast cores? Xiaoping quickly discovered that in addition to spiritual herbs and pills, there were also many beast cores stored in the space rings of these lost people. The so-called beast cores were like demon cores. They were the crystallization of the essence contained in the bodies of savage beasts. Each beast core contained a lot of energy, just like a medicinal pill. Many people hunted savage beasts to obtain beast cores to cultivate, and increase their cultivation. So many beast cores. Xiaoping probed with his divine sense, and found that there were at least tens of thousands of beast cores in the space rings of these lost people. Moreover, most of the beast cores had different attributes. They were gold, wood, water, fire, and earth respectively, and contained abundant energy of the 5 elements. Master, can I let the pearl of mountain and river absorb these beast cores? The green ox said excitedly. These beast cores contain abundant energy of the 5 elements. If I devour all of these beast cores, I believe the pearl of mountain and river will recover a portion of its power, and the power of the mountain and river state painting will also increase. It wanted to devour all of these beast cores. There's such a thing. It's alright, you can devour all of these beast cores. Anyway, there are many savage beasts here, and you can obtain more beast cores at any time. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He had seen the power of the pearl of mountain and river. It was not as simple as a support treasure, but a powerful treasure that could attack and defend. Once the mountain and river state painting appeared, it would immediately suppress the world. Even cultivators who were a realm higher than him would be useless, as it could easily suppress and kill them. This was the power of a divine artifact. If he could completely repair the pearl of mountain and river, even if he encountered stronger enemies, they would not be able to do anything to him. Thank you, Master. Hearing this, the green ox did not hesitate and immediately devoured all the beast cores. Tens of thousands of beast cores entered the pearl of mountain and river, and were instantly refined. In an instant, these beast cores were transformed into a huge amount of energy of the 5 elements, immediately filling the entire space of the pearl of mountain and river. Whoosh! The energy of the 5 elements immediately surged into every corner of the space of the pearl of mountain and river. With the nourishment of the energy of the 5 elements, the space of the pearl of mountain and river immediately underwent earth-shattering changes. First, the earth element yuan qi increased, and the land area expanded. Next, the boundless sea, a large amount of water element yuan qi increased, and rivers appeared one after another. With the increase of metal element yuan qi, metal veins also appeared in the depths of the endless mountains. In the sky, an illusion of a sun appeared out of nowhere. It seemed to be an illusion formed by the condensation of flame energy to the extreme. A large number of volcanoes appeared on the land. On the land of infinity, one tree after another grew wildly. The wood element yuan qi increased, and dense forests appeared full of vitality. In the depths of the space of the pearl of mountain and river, the mountain and river state painting was faintly discernible, as if there was an additional illusion. There were countless array marks vaguely appearing, and it was obvious that it had recovered some power. The rich energy of the 5 elements was extremely beneficial to the pearl of mountain and river. At the same time, the restoration of the pearl of mountain and river also caused a mysterious and powerful energy to be fed back to Xiaoping's body. His dermic powers were also rising rapidly, and the dermic powers in the depths of the purple mansion were increasing rapidly, almost reaching the level of perfection. Chapter 1450. One day later, Xiaoping rested nearby for a day to consolidate his cultivation base before setting off for the nearby metal attribute temple. But after flying for only a dozen kilometers, he immediately found a large golden cloud flying in the distance. There was a buzzing sound coming from the depths of the cloud, and a strong golden hepta-chi came, as if the world had turned into metal, and the air had the smell of iron. What is that? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He could feel that the large golden cloud contained a strong golden hepta-chi, as if it was a large piece of metal, and at the same time, it exuded a fatal killing intent. Be careful, this is a golden needle bee. Corinne immediately shouted. It is a terrible savage beast that lives near the metal attribute spirit vein. Generally speaking, it only exists in places with extremely rich metal attribute spirit energy. It is extremely terrible. They are social creatures, often appearing in groups of at least 100,000. Each golden needle bee is extremely terrible. When 100,000 golden needle bees add up and use metal attribute magical power at the same time, their strength is no less than that of a golden core realm. Once you encounter a golden needle bee, if you don't have the strength, run away immediately. Otherwise, if you are targeted by these golden needle bees, you will definitely die. Even an immortal may not be able to save you. Golden needle bees. Xiaoping's eyes flashed. Within the range of his divine sense, the large golden cloud quickly approached, and he finally perceived the truth of this group of golden clouds. Sure enough, it was an army of countless golden needle bees buzzing. When they arrived, it was as if they were blotting out the sky and covering the earth. They flew over and emitted a terrifying gungjin aura. The ground was cut by countless swords and sabers. The ground shook until it cracked, and dense cracks appeared. Suddenly, this group of golden needle bees sensed the existence of Xiaoping. They buzzed and seemed extremely excited, as if they had found a superior prey, and immediately rushed over. Xiao xiao xiao. These golden needle bees immediately erupted, and golden needles shot over, covering the sky and covering the earth, like 100,000 missiles, and a golden light appeared in the air. Moreover, these golden needles were not disorderly, but after careful planning and arrangement, they quickly assembled into a golden needle golden hepta killing god formation, containing infinite murderous intent. Once hit by these golden needles, the body would instantly turn into a beehive. Even a golden core realm cultivator would retreat in the face of this group of golden needle bees. They could not resist at all. If hit, they would directly turn into ashes, leaving nothing behind. Want to kill me? You're courting death. A cold light flashed in Xiaoping's eyes as he immediately made his move. Star guiding art falling stars. In an instant, the sky within a radius of 1,000 miles dimmed, as though it had turned into a world of stars. Every single star in the outer realm was trembling, and the endless power of the stars was being received. Crash! The power of these stars gathered together, quickly condensing into one giant star after another, rumbling as they revolved, surrounded by chaotic air currents. Following this, these stars were like meteors falling from the sky. They scraped against the air, bringing with them terrifying flames that seemed to be able to destroy the world. Bang bang bang. Immediately, these stars and the golden needle bees collided with each other, and countless golden needles were shattered into powder. The terrible power exploded in midair, clanging like swords colliding. The golden needle bees wailed. They couldn't bear such a terrible impact at all. With just one blow, they were shattered into pieces and turned into a cloud of pure golden chi. At the same time, tens of thousands of soybean-sized beast cores fell from the sky. These were all left behind by the golden stingers. Good stuff. Xiaoping's eyes lit up, and with a wave of his hand, he immediately swallowed these golden beast cores and the surrounding golden chi into the pearl of mountains and rivers, leaving nothing behind. Rumble, with these golden chi and the golden beast cores, the pearl of mountains and rivers immediately vibrated, constantly refining, devouring and absorbing, which also made the space of the pearl of mountains and rivers undergo earth-shaking changes. With the richness of the golden chi, it filled every corner of the space. One after another, metal veins appeared in the depths of the land of infinity, densely packed. And this space also became more solid, full of the smell of metal. If I can kill more golden beasts and devour more beast cores of the 5 elements, I am afraid that the pearl of mountains and rivers will recover faster. Xiaoping was very excited, feeling that this place was really a blessed place. He killed all the way to the Golden Temple, advancing dozens of miles at once. Along the way, Zhang Xian encountered many metal-attributed savage beasts, but they weren't as threatening as the golden needles. As such, he was able to kill all of them. These golden beasts and beast cores naturally fell into the hands of Xiaoping, all of which were devoured by the pearl of mountains and rivers and transformed into repair energy, so that a metal vein appeared in the space of the pearl of mountains and rivers. Here it is. After an unknown amount of time, Xiaoping killed all the way and finally arrived near the Golden Temple. He looked into the distance and immediately saw a towering temple appearing in front of him, surrounded by tyrannical restrictions and formations, exuding a strong golden chi. Because the metal elemental yuan chi was too rich, it caused many strange phenomena to appear around the temple. Sabers, swords, spears, halberds, and other kinds of cold weapons appeared and clashed with each other. It was as if countless martial arts masters were fighting. If ordinary people dared to enter the vicinity of this golden temple, they would immediately be torn apart by the terrible golden chi. And even if they stayed for a long time, they would be assimilated by these golden chi, and the whole person would be turned into metal. Sometimes, if the chi of heaven and earth was too strong, it would be highly toxic to ordinary cultivators. Just as Xia Ping was about to approach the golden temple, thousands of white flying cranes suddenly appeared in front of him. They were distributed near the temple like guards. The flying cranes stood on the ground, standing upright like long swords, their bodies filled with terrifying sword chi, piercing through the sky. It was as if thousands of flying swords had appeared in this place. Be careful, these are sword-flying cranes, Corinne warned. Every sword-flying crane is a true master of the sword. They are proficient in golden chi and are invincible. Ordinary cultivators are probably not a match for a sword-flying crane. Now there are thousands of them, bathing in golden chi day and night. I'm afraid their bodies have been tempered to the level of monsters, which is not something ordinary sword-flying cranes can compare to. I'm afraid these sword-flying cranes are several times more terrifying than the golden stingers we encountered before. I have to be careful. In an instant, just as Xia Ping approached the golden temple, he immediately attracted the attention of these sword-flying cranes. They did not say anything and directly attacked. Xiao xiao xiao. Chapter 1451. Bell of Chaos. In an instant, Xia Ping immediately released the Bell of Chaos. A five-colored light barrier immediately enveloped his entire body. It was airtight, and countless runes circulated around it, as though it had formed an absolute domain. The sword chi was extremely terrifying. It was as thin as a cow's hair, and its penetrative power was extremely strong. It instantly hit the five-colored light barrier, causing it to rumble and tremble violently. Some of the sword chi's penetrative power was terrifying, and it actually pierced through the five-colored light barrier. However, it had only entered a certain distance before it was shaken by the light barrier, instantly turning into a ball of gung metal vitality. That was because the protective barrier did not only have the function of defense, but it also had the ability to reflect, shift, and so on. Therefore, when the sword chi arrived, it was either blocked outside, or turned into a ball of metal vitality by the recoil force. What a powerful sword chi! What terrifying penetrative power! The Green Ox and Corinne were both shocked. They knew the power of the Bell of Chaos defense. Ordinary cultivators would not be able to penetrate the five-colored light barrier of the Bell of Chaos at all. However, they did not expect the sword chi of the sword-flying cranes to be so terrifying. It caused the five-colored light barrier of the Bell of Chaos to shake and tremble, and it even almost penetrated through. Furthermore, they also realized the seriousness of the matter. This was only the first round of attacks. If there was a second, third, and endless attacks, would they still be able to withstand it? Even if they could withstand it, the mana consumed in their bodies would be extremely shocking. How long could they last? Once their mana was exhausted, they would probably be blasted into pieces by the sword-flying cranes. Faced with the boundless power of the sword-flying cranes, even ordinary golden core cultivators would probably be shot into a beehive, unable to approach at all. Buzz buzz, when the sword-flying cranes saw that Xia Ping could actually withstand their sword chi, they were all enraged. This was the first time they had seen such a terrifying invader. In an instant, the sword-flying cranes actually moved, but they did not move randomly. Instead, they had their own unique positions. After a few breaths, they actually formed a huge sword formation. The sword chi on their bodies resonated. An endless golden gung chi gathered together, forming dense golden sword chi. And the golden sword chi seemed to be condensed from countless sword chi talismans, containing the aura of slaughter, destruction, annihilation, and so on. Once touched by the golden sword chi, one would immediately perish. They actually know sword arrays. These sword-flying cranes really want to ascend to heaven. The Green Ox exclaimed. He did not expect these savage beasts to have such astonishing intelligence. They actually knew how to combine the strength of their companions and increase the power of the sword chi. In this way, the sword chi they could unleash would probably be several times more powerful than before. Quick, stop them. Otherwise, We'll be in trouble once the sword formation is formed. Corinne worriedly said. Don't worry. They're just flying sword cranes. I don't even need to do anything. In that instant, Xiaoping had already thought of a way to deal with the flock of flying sword cranes. Whoosh! With a thought, the golden slime immediately jumped out of his body and transformed into countless blades. Each blade was swallowing and spitting out a terrifying white sword aura like a venomous snake. Every one of the sword beams contained a trace of the might of a sacred artifact. It was extremely terrifying. The flock of flying sword cranes had no scruples, because they had many companions. However, they were least afraid of numbers tactics. The other party had a lot of sword chi. Could they be more than the endless sword blades? As long as Xiaoping willed it, the endless sword blades could split into countless blades and attack from all directions. Previously, the golden slime had swallowed a large amount of precious ores and a large amount of warship debris. It had also undergone a huge evolution and advanced to the level of a high-grade spirit artifact. Its strength was many times more tyrannical. He also wanted to see the power of the endless sword blades. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant the endless sword blades immediately erupted. Sword blades shot out one after another. Tens of thousands of them combined together and formed a heaven and earth sword array. Moreover, each sword blade was a clone of the endless sword blades. They were one, so it was easy to control. It was like controlling a finger or arm. Their coordination was seamless. It was not something that the flying sword cranes could compare to. Bang bang bang. In midair, the golden sword chi and the white sword beams collided with each other. Clanging sounds rang out. It was as if experts of the way of the sword were fighting in a frenzy, unafraid of death. In just a few breaths, the endless sword blades and the flock of flying sword cranes had clashed dozens of times. They used all their strength. The ground was cracked and densely packed cracks appeared. It was a shocking scene. Countless sword chi was shaken into a ball of metal origin chi in the intense collision. Because it was too dense, the sky above the battlefield even condensed into a golden cloud that covered 100 miles. Kill! Just as the flock of flying sword cranes were slightly out of breath and temporarily unable to recover their spiritual power, Xiaoping saw a flaw in them. He immediately infused his majestic spiritual power into the endless sword blades. Rumble! Immediately, the endless sword blades seemed to have been injected with chicken blood and once again became lively. Sword blades shot out from the ground and tore the earth apart. The area within 100 miles turned into a hellsword mountain. Sword blades tore through the sky and split the earth. It was terrifying beyond compare. The flying sword cranes were caught off guard. They did not expect the endless sword blades to still have the strength to attack. In an instant, their bodies were pierced through by the sword blades that shot out from the ground. Their bodies also immediately exploded with large amounts of blood. Their bodies were pierced from head to tail. Over 10,000 flying sword cranes were killed on the spot just like that. Not a single one was spared. Xiaoping did not hold back. He immediately collected the corpses of the flying sword cranes and placed them in the space of the Pearl of Mountain and River. At the same time, the Pearl of Mountain and River also produced a terrifying devouring power. It completely devoured the golden cloud in the sky and collected it all into the space of the Pearl of Mountain and River. After obtaining the dense metal origin chi, huge mountains immediately appeared in the space of the Pearl of Mountain and River. This was not a mountain range formed by earth elemental energy, but by metal elemental energy. It was a mountain made of metal, and under the sunlight, it shone brightly, and there was the faint sound of swords clashing in the air. And the map of the mountain and river in the depths of the Pearl of Mountain and River was also nourished by the spiritual chi. It seemed to become clearer, and the patterns on it also had golden lines and golden brands. Metal Divine Temple. Without the obstruction of the flying sword cranes and the other wild beasts, Xiaoping's journey was unimpeded. He directly arrived in front of the Divine Temple. He saw that there were terrifying restrictions around the Divine Temple. There were many of them, and it seemed that if enemies dared to approach, they would immediately be turned to dust by the power of the restrictions. How do I deal with these restrictions? Chapter 1452. Use the star attraction art. At this time, Corinne said, These array restrictions are to prevent the enemy from getting the talisman. They are extremely powerful. Even if a perfected master of the gold core realm approaches, he will be smashed into powder. However, if you circulate the star guide art and resonate with the restriction array formation, the restriction array formation will recognize you as its master and will naturally collapse. It explained the solution. After all, this was one of the strongholds of the Stars sect. I see. Xiaoping nodded. He did not hesitate, and immediately ran the star attraction art. Immediately, every acupoint in his body seemed to surge with endless star power. One after another, stars appeared and rotated in his body, and a heavenly cycle star array also appeared. His whole body was wrapped in blue star energy. In the depths of the void, the stars trembled and flickered, resonating as if they were the children of the stars. In the depths of the temple, it seemed to sense this rich star energy. In the depths of the core, one restriction array after another appeared, as if the power of countless stars was intertwined. Ha! Xiaoping's eyes widened. His eyes contained astral energy, allowing him to clearly see the orbits of these constellations. It was so clear no matter how big or small they were. Suddenly he saw a flaw in these restriction array formations, a key node. Subconsciously, he stretched out his hand, ran his spiritual power, and gently pointed. Immediately, these restriction array formations produced a chain reaction. They shattered like glass inch by inch. Bang! Not only did the restriction array shatter, but even the temple itself also shattered, turning into a mass of pure metal elemental qi. It turned out that this temple was also an illusion of the metal elemental qi. Now that the restriction array was broken, it naturally disappeared. At this moment in the air, a talisman appeared. It looked like a small sword, buzzing and trembling, and its interior seemed to be engraved with dense runes. There was no doubt that this was the metal elemental talisman. Whoosh! Xiaoping grabbed it with his big hand, and his divine sense penetrated it, refining it in an instant. Immediately, he could feel that his divine sense and this talisman had a reaction, and he could even use this talisman to control part of the power of the array. Vaguely, Xiaoping could also sense the location of the other 4 talismans on this planet. They seemed to have formed a mysterious connection with each other, and were originally one entity. What was going on? Why are their talismans moving? Could it be that someone beat us to it and obtained one of the talismans? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He sensed that 1 or 2 spirit talismans were moving, and they were not moving in a fixed position. For such a situation to occur, someone must have broken through the restrictive array and snatched the talisman away. To be honest, even though the restrictive array formation was very powerful, it had been so many years since then that the power of the restrictive array formation had weakened quite a bit. If someone had a special method and paid a small price, it was not impossible to break the restriction array. Looks like there's an enemy fighting over the talismans with me. Xiaoping immediately felt that his journey to obtain the spirit talisman might not be as smooth as he thought. Perhaps there would be danger at every step. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Just then over a dozen powerful auras came from afar. They were riding on flying swords, surpassing 100 times the speed of sound. They tore through the air and quickly arrived at the temple. Xiaoping naturally also sensed this aura, but he did not dodge. Instead, he stood where he was, wanting to know where these people came from and what their purpose was. Haha, the journey was really smooth. There were no wild beasts along the way, which made our breakthrough a lot faster. Senior brother told us to split into several groups and quickly go to the 5 Elements temple on this planet to break the restrictive array formation and obtain the talismans. In this way, we can combine the 5 elements and completely control the 5 elements devil sealing formation of this planet. This is to quickly take control of this planet and avoid unnecessary trouble. Indeed, I did not expect things to go so smoothly. I originally thought that there would be strong wild beasts blocking the way, but there was nothing. This is God's blessing for our Black Heaven sect, and it is right for us to control this planet. I guess it is not because of God's blessing, but because someone beat us to it and arrived at this gold element temple one step ahead of us. With the other party helping us to clear the wild beasts, It is naturally very smooth. Who dares to beat us to it? Is it the disciples of Mingyue Court or the Jun Tian school? Or is it a lost person from this place? No matter who dares to beat us to it, that gold element talisman belongs to our Black Heaven sect. Anyone who dares to snatch it will die. Immediately, a group of Black Heaven sect disciples quickly flew over and landed on the land that used to be the gold element temple. Each and every one of them was unruly and extremely arrogant. They were at least in the true fire realm. And the leader was a man in green who was in the early stage of the golden elixir realm. He carried a green long sword on his back, and his sword chi soared into the sky. He was extremely powerful. Senior brother Chu Hen, as expected, someone beat us to it and obtained the gold element talisman. This temple has already disappeared. Someone immediately realized that this place no longer had the gold element temple, and the restrictive array formation around it had also disappeared completely. Who is so bold? I have given a military order to senior brother Rong Hang that I must obtain the gold element talisman. If I fail, how can I, Chu Hen, raise my head in front of all my brothers and sisters? The man in green, Chu Hen, frowned and was very dissatisfied. There is a stranger in front, in the early stage of the true fire realm. I guess this kid obtained the gold element talisman, but he doesn't have the aura of the Great Sky Sect or Mingyue Court on him. I guess he is a native of this planet, or a lost person. A Black Heaven sect disciple obviously noticed Xia Ping in the distance. What lost person? A native is a native. Is there any other way to call him? However, a small true fire realm native trash dares to snatch something from our Black Heaven sect? Are you tired of living? The man in green, Chu Hen, sneered. Kid, did you obtain the gold element talisman? Confess immediately. A Black Heaven sect disciple shouted and stared at Xia Ping with a murderous look. So what if I obtained it? Do you still want to snatch it? Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back. Snatch? A Black Heaven sect disciple suddenly laughed. Native, don't be too arrogant. If the Black Heaven sect wants something, you must obediently hand it over. There is no need to snatch it. I will only give you 3 breaths of time to think about it. Immediately hand over the gold element talisman with both hands, obediently surrender, and become our slave, so that we do not lose anything. Otherwise, if you anger us, not only will we capture you and kill you on the spot, even the people behind you and the tribe behind you will be captured and executed. Chapter 1453. Black Heaven Sect? What sect is this? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes, revealing a dangerous glint. He could tell that they were from a great force and not lost people. Could it be that this group of people had a way to come to the Fog Star Field and reach the 5 Elements planet? It seemed that the Fog Star Field had also been invaded, and something unusual had happened. Then he revealed a faint murderous aura. This was the 5 Elements planet, the treasure of the Stars sect. Apart from himself, no one could get their hands on it. Whoever dared to covet it had to die. Native, I'm afraid you'll be scared to death if I tell you. One of the Mystic Heaven sect's disciples sneered. Our Mystic Heaven sect is a saint-level sect with 3 saints guarding it. We rule over the 5 major galaxies and billions of planets. With a single command, any force would be reduced to dust and tremble in fear. Not to mention a small native like you. Even if everyone on the entire planet goes against our Black Heaven sect, they will all die. Only surrender and become a slave. That is your only way out. He stared at Xia Ping with extreme arrogance. You kneel down immediately, kowtow 3 times and become my slave. The green-clothed man, Chu Hen, immediately said. His eyes revealed a glimmer of light. He could feel that Xia Ping's aura was very unusual. His chi and blood were thick, not something an ordinary cultivator could compare to. A cultivator like this had a special physique. If he was taken as a slave and trained, he would definitely be of great help in the future. Even if he wasn't a slave, he could still be sold for a large sum of money. No matter what, reducing this kid to a slave was a good deal. There were many benefits. Did you hear that? Kneel down immediately. Senior brother Chu letting you be his slave is a blessing that you won't get in 3 lifetimes. Hurry up and kneel down. Do you want to die? A black-clothed Black Heaven sect disciple shouted, and looked at Xiaoping ferociously. It seemed that if Xiaoping did not surrender, he would immediately kill him and teach him a lesson. To be honest, he was a cultivator at the peak of the true fire realm. His martial arts realm was 2 levels higher than this kid's. Just his magic power alone was much thicker than this native's. Not to mention that he was an elite disciple of the Black Heaven sect, who had cultivated many martial arts techniques and had tyrannical combat power. How could this native compare to him? He could even beat this native with one hand. Black Heaven sect. Saint Class sect? Interesting. I'd like to see if the mysterious Heaven sect is really that great. Is it really the overlord force that rules over the 5 galaxies? In the blink of an eye, Xiaoping made his move. His hell's spear appeared in his hand, and he immediately unleashed a deadly attack that could pierce through the heavens. Xiao! It was like the spear of a ghost god, stabbing out from the depths of hell. The stars trembled, and an enormous hell portal appeared behind him, pulsing with the boundless power of hell. The wails of ghosts and gods shook everything. In an instant, the spear was pressed against the black-robed man's chest. Bastard, how dare you attack me? The man in black was shocked and enraged. He was terrified to the extreme. He never thought that an aboriginal in the early stage of true fire realm would dare to kill him in front of so many people. Did he have a death wish? However, at this moment, he did not have time to think so much. The power of the spear was extremely terrifying. It was as fast as lightning, and arrived beside him in an instant. The tip of the spear exuded a terrifying murderous aura, easily piercing through his righteous chi shield. If he did not block it, he would definitely be pierced by the spear in the next second, and die without a burial. Black Tortoise Wuxia armor. At this moment of life and death, the black-robed man moved his mind, and immediately used the technique he had been hiding for a long time. It was a middle-grade defensive spiritual weapon, Black Tortoise Wuxia armor. Immediately, a set of armor covered his entire body, covering every corner of his body. The surface of the armor was like a tortoise shell, densely covered with patterns. Furthermore, its entire body was sparkling and translucent like a crystal. Piece by piece, it assembled together, and a boundless heaven and earth formation was activated in the depths of the armor. Energy materialized, displaying an incomparably tyrannical defensive power. This was his final move. In order to obtain this middle-grade defensive spiritual weapon, he had paid a huge price. After all, this trip to the fog star field was fraught with danger. No one knew what would happen, so he had made ample preparations. However, he did not expect to use his trump card at this moment. Moreover, it was used by an aboriginal in the early stage of true fire realm. It was ridiculous. Middle-grade defensive spiritual weapon? It's useless. Die. Xiaoping's eyes were frighteningly cold. The mana in his body was burning as he infused it into the hell spear. Immediately, the mana of the true fire realm seeped in, allowing the hell spear to exert an unprecedented power. A terrifying deep and ancient aura of hell spread out. The body of the spear was also covered in dense hell runes. They squirmed like ants crawling in hell, like blood vessels swimming, and like a dragon surrounding the spear. Hell superpower, Hell Demon Spear. This spear was almost unprecedented since the beginning of time. It was oppressive. It was like a spear from a demon god from hell. At this moment, Xiaoping was like a demon god from hell. He knew the underworld, broke through the chaos, understood the 6 paths of reincarnation, and suppressed the existence of hell. As the spear pierced through, even the air was distorted. Dense hell's words appeared, forming a picture of hell. These hell's words seemed to be writing the eternal history of hell, creating a legend. Crack! The middle-grade spiritual weapon, Black Tortoise Everlasting Armor, was pierced by the hell spear. The tortoise shell was pierced through immediately. It was as fragile as tofu, cracking loudly. Against the power of a demon god, this defensive spiritual weapon was useless. The power of hell pierced through everything. Any tortoise shell was as fragile as tofu. Impossible, the man in black screamed. One had to know that this was a middle-grade defensive spiritual weapon that he had spent a lot of money to buy. Even a perfected person in the Golden Core realm would have to spend a lot of effort to break through its defense. Now, it was actually pierced through by this indigenous person's spear. How could he believe it? If he hadn't checked carefully before, he would have thought that he had spent a lot of money to buy a knockoff spiritual weapon. However, at this moment, he had no time to investigate this matter. After the spear pierced through the black tortoise everlasting armor, it pierced through his body easily. The terrifying power of hell bombarded his body. The flames from hell burned instantly, burning his entire body into a ball, and the surroundings exploded. Dong! The man in black let out a blood-curdling scream. Even the black tortoise everlasting armor exploded into pieces. A huge pit with a diameter of several kilometers appeared on the ground. It was earth-shattering and swept up a huge tornado. Chapter 1454. Ah, bastard son of a bitch, damn native. Seeing that Xia Ping had stabbed the man in black to death, the man in green, Chu Hen, was enraged. How dare you kill a disciple of Xiantian sect? You're courting death. Not only you, even the people around you, anyone who is related to you, will pay the price of blood flowing like a river because of this matter. No one in the world will be able to save you, no one. He roared at the top of his lungs. His face was ferocious, and he was extremely angry. One must know that he, Chu Hen, was a golden core cultivator. His strength was tyrannical. That kid was just a lowly native, and was only in the true fire realm. However, such a small fry dared to kill his junior brother, and Xiantian sect disciple in front of him. How arrogant was that? How arrogant was that? He didn't care about Chu Hen and Xiantian sect at all. This was a ruthless slap to Chu Hen's face. If this matter were to spread, Chu Hen would have no face left. He would become the laughingstock of many of his brothers in Xiantian sect. They would say that he couldn't even control a small native, and that his cultivation had been wasted. Rumble! In an instant, Chu Hen made his move. He pulled out a sword from his body, and everything within 1,000 miles trembled. This was a golden core cultivator making his move. It shook the heavens and earth. One had to know that this was a perfected golden core of the Xiantian sect, not an itinerant cultivator. He had been nurtured by a saint-level sect, and was much stronger than the golden core cultivator, who had lost his way. Even though they were cultivators of the same realm, they cultivated different techniques, spells, and battle experience. This caused their combat strength to be completely different. His move was earth-shattering. His aura was terrifying. The chi of heaven and earth fluctuated violently. It was as if the earth was about to disintegrate, and the surroundings were shaking like a magnitude 7 earthquake. Sword Dao Divine Ability, Cosmic Scar Sword Art. Whoosh! As the sword slashed down, it was as if countless sword chi appeared in the air. In an instant, countless sword techniques appeared, and all the sword chi gathered together. At this moment, the sky seemed to be split open. Leaving a mark in the void was one of the highest realms of the Sword Dao Divine Art. Of course, Chu Hen's sword chi was only an imitation. It was far from reaching the level of leaving a scar in the void. That was because when the sword chi was strong to a certain degree, it would create an illusion of a scar in the sky. It would devour light and create a black scar. Such a black scar would look like the sky had split open. But even so, the power of this sword was enough to tear apart mountains and rivers, displaying the supreme power of a golden core. Senior brother Chu Hen is furious. This aborigine is dead for sure. He actually forced senior brother Chu Hen to use the Heaven Scar Sword. You should know that this sword art is one of the supreme sword arts of the mysterious Heaven sect. Its power is boundless, and only a few people can successfully cultivate it. That's right. With a single slash, even the sky would be split into two, leaving behind a scar. How could this native block it? Poor guy. Originally, he might have been able to live as a slave of senior brother Chu Hen, but he actually dared to kill a disciple of the mysterious Heaven sect. This is a crime worthy of death. His entire family will be executed. The disciples of the profound Heaven sect sneered again and again. They looked at Xia Ping, as if they were looking at a dead man. With Chu Hen, a golden core realm master, personally making a move, this native would definitely die. There was no chance of him surviving. Great Yin Yang Tablet Breaking Palm. Facing this earth-shattering sword, Xiaoping also attacked. His figure flashed, and his palm slammed down towards the sword qi in the sky. This huge palm was formed by the yin and yang qi, like a millstone of the 8 trigrams. Black and white runes flashed inside it, constantly moving. The palm was incomparably huge, and every rune was like the path of the Tao, covering the entire sky. When the disciples of the mysterious heaven sect saw this palm, they were also shocked. They could feel that this palm contained supreme power. It was ever-changing and all-encompassing, as if the entire universe was contained within it. Dong! This palm fiercely slammed onto the black sword qi. When the two forces collided, the sword qi was instantly destroyed. It collapsed inch by inch, turning into a large amount of pure qi of heaven and earth, dissipating in this space. The huge palm also collapsed and dissipated. The power of both sides had cancelled each other out. Both Xiaoping and Chu Hen also withstood the terrifying impact. They retreated continuously with their blood boiling. However, Chu Hen's eyes burst with a frightening light. He stared at Xiaoping and said, "Good, very good. A native, an ant in the early stage of the true fire realm, can actually withstand a sword attack from me, a golden core cultivator, and come out unscathed. I have never seen a true fire realm cultivator like this. You are definitely not a native of this planet. Tell me, where did you come from? What do you want to do in this place?" Once an expert made a move, it would be obvious. If the other party was a native, a lost person without any background, it would be impossible for him to fight against a golden core cultivator with true fire realm cultivation, even if he had monstrous talent. From that palm just now, he could feel a vast history. It was as if there was a great person from ancient times writing a legend. It was 1,000 years of history, passed down for a long time, vast and boundless. Chu Hen could be sure that this kid definitely had an ancient inheritance. He was a peerless figure that did not appear in the world. It was impossible for him to be a lone cultivator. What's so great about a sword attack from you? So what if you're a golden core cultivator? It's not like I haven't killed one before. Die. Xiaoping did not plan to waste any more words with this golden core cultivator from the Black Heaven sect. He raised the hell spear in his hand and stabbed again. Bang bang bang. Chu Hen did not dare to show any weakness. He displayed the Heaven Scar sword technique. Every sword qi was naturally formed and interweaved into a large net. It enveloped the heaven and earth, contending against the spear technique. The sword qi and the spear collided, bombarding each other continuously. It was like a nuclear explosion. The surrounding ground was blasted into huge pits, and the ground within a 1,000-mile radius was blasted into the surface of the moon. The energy of heaven and earth in the surroundings was constantly tumbling, exploding, chaotic, and strangling in all directions. Any ordinary cultivator that came into contact with it would be blasted into pieces by the airflow. The surrounding disciples of the Black Heaven sect fled in all directions in fear, not daring to approach. They were shocked. This was not a battle between a true fire realm and a golden core cultivator. It was clearly a life and death battle between two golden core cultivators. It had to be said that this native was too exaggerated. He was simply not human. Even though the Black Heaven sect was a saint-class sect with countless geniuses, they had never seen someone who could challenge someone of a higher level. It was simply unbelievable that a true fire realm cultivator could contend against a golden core cultivator. Ah, what is this? As the battle continued, Xiaoping imbued his mana into the hell spear, causing the aura of hell that the spear emitted to become even stronger. When the aura of hell reached its peak boom, immediately, a warm current was transmitted from the hell spear. It was a majestic current of information. There were mysterious and profound divine art scrolls and hell talismans. He sensed many mysteries of hell martial arts coming from the depths of the hell spear. It seemed that as his cultivation grew stronger, he could receive even more inheritances of hell. Chapter 1455. I see. Xiaoping was enlightened. He finally knew the true secret of the hell demon suppressing spear. What he had learned before was just the tip of the iceberg. This spear technique was of an extremely high level, and was unpredictable. Perhaps even a saint-tier ultimate skill couldn't describe it. It had a total of 7 moves, nature, slaughter, creation, destruction, devour, cleanse, and reincarnation. Each style was stronger than the last, and each style was more unfathomable than the last. When one successfully cultivated all 7 styles of spear arts, even a demon god could be easily suppressed in the depths of hell. They were incomparably tyrannical. Boom! In an instant, Xia Ping gripped the hell spear tightly. The aura on his body was completely different. It was as if he had absorbed the aura of hell and swallowed it into his body. Then he stabbed out with the spear, and it instantly exploded. Hell demon suppressing spear's first move, nature. As the spear shot out, earth, wind, water, fire, and all other elements appeared. The 8 trigrams combined, and the boundless power instantly formed a picture of hell. Volcanoes erupted one after another. Poisonous swamps bubbled one after another. And rivers of the underworld all gathered in the picture of hell. It was as if the scene of hell was being played out. In this hellish scene, the work of the gods contained limitless creation. All kinds of moves, the alternation of the sun and moon, the natural Tao, and the 2 forms of yin and yang were all contained in this move. In the few breaths of time that he transmitted these hellish ultimate skills, he had already learned the first move, and even mastered it. Therefore, the moment he attacked, the power of the hell demon suppressing spear increased by several times. What kind of ultimate skill is this? Many Xintian sect disciples also felt how terrifying this spear was. It was as if hell had descended, projecting the plane of hell into this world, and dragging the enemy into the depths of hell. Even though they didn't fight Xia Ping head-on, they could still feel the intense hellish aura just by standing at the side. It was as if there were countless evil spirits trying to drag their souls into hell. How is this possible? This isn't an ultimate skill. Where did you learn it from? Chu Hen was shocked. He didn't expect the kid in front of him to suddenly increase his strength and instantly increase the power of his ultimate skill by several times. It was as if there was a qualitative change. The moment the spear arrived, he felt like he had fallen into the Avicii hell. His soul suffered thousands of tortures. His aura was locked, and he couldn't move at all. Dong! All of his defensive energy arts and magical treasures were destroyed, and the spear stabbed into his abdomen, causing blood to spray everywhere. Damn bastard! Chu Hen roared. His expression was malevolent. He really didn't think that the power of this spear would be so terrifying. It directly pierced through his defense, pierced through his body, as if it was a fatal spear that wanted to pierce through his soul. He circulated the power of his Jindan and burned the magic power in his body. His strength increased by several times, and even the blood from his wound stopped flowing. He immediately wanted to pull the spear out. Too late! Xia Ping slapped down with his palm and threw out the mountain and river bead. The mountain and river map instantly enveloped a radius of 100 miles. The entire world's essence seemed to have stopped moving at this moment. He still remembered how terrifying a golden core realm cultivator was. Once the other party was forced into a desperate situation, the other party could immediately self-detonate their golden core in despair and perish together with the enemy. The power of self-detonation was even more terrifying than a nuclear bomb. He wouldn't reveal such a flaw. Otherwise, if he perished together with the enemy, wouldn't he suffer a huge loss? Therefore, he wouldn't give the opponent a chance to self-detonate his golden core. Once he made a move, he would kill the opponent. What? Chu Hen was horrified at this moment. There was no longer anger. Instead, it was replaced by endless fear and panic. Because when this formation scroll enveloped him, he discovered that other than his thoughts being able to operate, his magic power, magical treasures, and body were all unable to move. It was as if he was immobilized. Even if he wanted to self-detonate his golden core, there was no way. A situation like this in an intense battle was simply a fatal flaw. Even if his body was immobilized for a second, it was enough for the enemy to kill him more than 10 times. Not to mention, he didn't know how long his body would be immobilized for. This was simply watching himself being killed, but he was powerless. His heart fell into a state of despair. Die! Xia Ping wouldn't give Chu Hen any chance. He didn't care about Chu Hen's begging, fear, regret, unwillingness, and other emotions. The hell spear instantly pierced out and accurately pierced Chu Hen's head. Bang! Chu Hen's head was pierced in an instant. A tyrannical force exploded and immediately, his head exploded like a watermelon. Blood splattered out and dyed the ground red. His corpse also fell to the ground, creating a cloud of dust. A Golden Core Realm cultivator was killed on the spot just like that. Even his Golden Core couldn't self-detonate. Is this a joke? Senior Chu Hen is dead? Pierced through the head by a spear. Many mysterious Heaven Sect disciples were trembling. Chu Hen was one of the 12 Golden Core Realm cultivators of mysterious Heaven Sect. Although his strength wasn't among the top, he was still one of the leaders. But now he was actually dead. He was stabbed to death by a native spear and his head exploded. And before he died, Chu Hen couldn't even self-detonate his Golden Core. If this was told to others, no one would believe it. I don't believe it. It's an illusion. It must be an illusion. Senior Chu Hen is a Golden Elixir Realm cultivator. That guy is only in the True Fire Realm. Their strengths are worlds apart. How could he kill Senior Chu Hen? A mysterious Heaven Sect disciple shouted. He thought it was an illusion. He didn't believe that Chu Hen was killed by Xia Ping. But the other mysterious Heaven Sect disciples' faces were very ugly. Actually, they also thought that they had fallen into the opponent's illusion. But they thought of various ways to verify it. They always proved that it was reality and not an illusion. The problem was, this was even more ridiculous than falling into an illusion. Since when could a True Fire Realm cultivator easily kill a Golden Core Realm cultivator? They had never heard of such a thing, let alone seen it. Bang! Xia Ping turned his palm, and immediately turned Chu Hen's corpse into powder. Only a grape-sized Golden Core was left on the ground. The Golden Core was extremely hard. This palm had no way of destroying it. However, Chu Hen's Golden Core was clearly much bigger than the Golden Core of the lost person. It was said that the more divine powers one condensed, the stronger the Golden Core would be. So, different people's Golden Cores were different. Alright, how do you want to die? Commit suicide or be killed by me with one palm? Choose. Xia Ping turned around and stood with his hands behind his back. He looked at the group of mysterious Heaven Sect disciples indifferently. His clothes fluttered without any wind. He emitted a majestic aura like a mountain, oppressing the heaven and earth. Chapter 1456. Native, don't go too far. A Black Heaven Sect disciple trembled and said fiercely, "How dare you kill a Golden Core senior brother of our Black Heaven Sect? This is an unforgivable crime. If you surrender now, we might leave your corpse intact. Otherwise, if the elders find out about this, you will definitely die without a burial place. Even the force behind you will be reduced to dust. Have you considered the seriousness of this matter?" He stared at Xia Ping, intending to intimidate him. That's right. Our Black Heaven Sect is not something a little native like you can provoke. Killing a Golden Core perfected master of our Black Heaven Sect is a crime of genocide. When our Black Heaven Sect builds a space-time gate on this planet, all of you natives will be reduced to dust. If you know what's good for you, surrender immediately. Otherwise, your entire clan will be exterminated and your descendants will be slaves for generations to come. One by one, the Black Heaven Sect disciples tried to intimidate Xia Ping. They knew that if this native could kill a Golden Core perfected master, it would not be difficult for him to kill them. Therefore, they all threatened him, hoping that this native would understand what it meant to be apprehensive. You still want to build a space-time gate on this planet and build an eternal base? What a joke! Don't you know whose territory this is? How dare you do such a thing? I can't let you live. Xia Ping's eyes revealed a ferocious light. This planet was Gaia, the territory of the Starry Sect. Once the other party successfully built a space-time gate, they could move troops from their own sect at any time. Even sages could cross the void and use this planet as a springboard to enter the Fog Star sector. He absolutely would not allow such a situation to happen. Retreat quickly. Split up and run. Break up. Those who leave alive, immediately bring reinforcements and avenge your dead brothers and sisters. In the future, we must kill this native and exterminate his entire clan. Otherwise, our dead brothers and sisters will not be able to rest in peace. Run quickly, run. Run now. Hearing what Xia Ping said, The Black Heaven sect disciples immediately knew that this matter could not be resolved peacefully. They could feel the killing intent in this native's words. Since even the Black Heaven sect could not intimidate him, they could only escape. This was the only way to survive. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant, more than a dozen mysterious Heaven sect disciples split up and fled in all directions. They believed that even if only one of them managed to escape, they would be able to bring reinforcements and tear this native to pieces. You can't escape, Xiaoping sneered. His natal magic treasure, the Bell of Chaos, immediately appeared. He poured a huge amount of magic power into the depths of the Bell of Chaos, and a heaven-earth formation was born. Buzz! Immediately, the Bell of Chaos shook from left to right and shook the heavens and the earth. It was as if a heavenly dragon was roaring furiously, and it emitted a terrifying sound wave that affected the heavens and the earth, and swept through an area of several thousand kilometers. With the Bell of Chaos as the center, the sound waves condensed into substance. Like waves and tides, they spread out layer by layer. Furthermore, the layers overlapped, and the destructive power reached its peak. Bang bang bang. The dozen or so mysterious Heaven sect disciples immediately let out shrill screams. This kind of sound wave shock ignored the defense of magic treasures and spells, directly affecting their internal organs. One by one, the mysterious Heaven sect disciples' bodies exploded into a mist of blood and exploded in the air. The mysterious Heaven sect disciples were all killed by the shockwave. As long as they did not escape the range of the Bell of Chaos, they would not be able to escape at all. The problem was, no matter how fast these mysterious Heaven sect disciples were, they could not escape thousands of kilometers in an instant. However, there was also a mysterious Heaven sect disciple who burned the magic power in his body and let out a roar before he died. Endless black sky, borrow the power of heaven and earth. Divine Sense transmission go. With a whoosh, his whole body burned, and the power of his divine sense immediately erupted, condensing into a golden talisman. Then, it broke through the sky at an extremely fast speed and escaped into the void. In just an instant, the golden talisman disappeared. It had escaped thousands of kilometers away, and Xiaoping could not catch up. This is a little troublesome. They actually tipped me off in the end. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He knew that this golden talisman must be the mysterious Heaven sect's distress talisman. Its purpose was to ask for help from the nearby sect brothers. This kind of talisman could escape into the void at an extremely fast speed. There was no way to stop it. However, this did not matter. In any case, he and this group of mysterious Heaven sect disciples would meet sooner or later, and the conflict could not be resolved. After all, the other party wanted to build a spatial gate on Planet 5 Elements, and this was his territory. They were fundamentally at odds. Whoosh. Thinking of this, Xiaoping did not continue to think so much. He grabbed with his large hand, and immediately grabbed the spatial rings, left behind by the mysterious Heaven sect disciples, including the spatial ring of the golden core perfected Chu Hen. He scanned with his divine sense, and immediately found that there were many good things inside. First was the beast cores. This group of mysterious Heaven sect disciples were quite strong. They killed their way here. And with the golden core perfected masters supporting them, they were practically gods and Buddhas. God knows how many wild beasts they killed. Because they came from the other side of the planet, they also killed the 5 elemental wild beasts, and obtained the 5 elemental beast cores. After a careful count, there were at least 200,000 beast cores. Devour. Xiaoping was very excited. With these beast cores, the Pearl of Mountain and River would definitely recover more power. Immediately, a large number of beast cores were devoured by the Pearl of Mountain and River. Rumble. When these 200,000 beast cores were completely refined, they immediately turned into pure 5 elemental yuan qi. The Pearl of Mountain and River seemed to have eaten a complete tonic, and its space continued to expand. Even the mountains were rising, the rivers were widening, the valleys were deep, the deserts were vast, the sky was high, and the spiritual qi was dense. The world in the Pearl of Mountain and River became more realistic, as if the world had been promoted. Dong. Just as all the 5 elemental yuan qi, was devoured by the pearl of mountain and river. Another heaven and earth formation appeared in the depths of the pearl of mountain and river. Dense array marks and traces appeared. This heaven and earth formation was not the mountain and river map, but another heaven and earth formation. It was extremely mysterious, and it emitted an ethereal aura that contained endless spatial power. What formation is this? Xiaoping asked curiously. Congratulations, master, the green ox said excitedly. This is another formation of the pearl of mountain and river, the Wuxia spatial map. This is a powerful formation that can be as famous as the mountain and river map. At its peak, once the Wuxia spatial map is used, it can immediately hide all the aura on the master's body, turn invisible, and escape into space. It can easily travel through the universe. Back then, Old Master relied on this ability of the pearl of mountain and river to easily travel through various secret realms in the universe. He could even hide himself and not be discovered by sages. Chapter 1457. Limitless Space Map? What a good map! Xiaoping's eyes lit up. This ability was very similar to the invisibility pearl he had obtained before. But the invisibility pearl's level was still too low. It couldn't even hide from Purple Mansion realm cultivators. Therefore, he had already abandoned the invisibility pearl and threw it into the bottom of the warehouse. But the Mountain River pearl was different. After restoring the limitless space map, it could hide his aura, figure, and even escape into space. It was simply the best auxiliary treasure. With this ability, his survival level would be greatly improved, and ordinary people wouldn't be able to kill him. He could even use this ability to do all kinds of things. Sure enough, the power of a saint artifact was very powerful and incredible. It was far from what a spirit artifact could compare with. If Master can obtain more beast cores and devour more 5 elements spiritual qi, you can restore more power to the Mountain River Pearl. The Green Ox took the opportunity to persuade Xiaoping to restore more power to the Mountain River Pearl. It was extremely eager to restore the power of its heyday. Of course, no problem. If I can get more beast cores, I'll let you devour them all. Xiaoping nodded. The more powerful the Mountain River Pearl was, the more help it would be to him. Mere beast cores were nothing. Thank you, master. The Green Ox was very excited. And what is this? Xiaoping continued to search the interspatial rings of these mystic heaven sect disciples. In addition to many treasures, he also found elixirs and spirit medicines, each of which was very valuable. But after searching for a while, he found a black talisman in Chu Hen's interspatial ring. It contained a rich spatial aura and slowly rotated, forming an unfathomable vortex. He could even feel a trace of a sage's aura from this black talisman, which made his heart palpitate. This is a restriction-breaking talisman. When Corinne saw this black talisman, he immediately cried out, and his pupils contracted. Restriction-breaking talisman? What is it? Xiaoping asked curiously. Corinne said in a deep voice, this talisman can break all kinds of restriction arrays in the world. This restriction-breaking talisman is extremely powerful and contains the aura of a sage. It must have been refined by a sage. Now, I finally understand why this group of mysterious heaven sect disciples had the confidence to break the restriction array of planet 5 elements. Even though tens of thousands of years had passed, and the power of the array had weakened slightly, it was still not something that a golden core perfected master could break. The problem is that they have the restriction-breaking talisman bestowed upon them by the sage. In this way, the restriction-breaking talisman, which is an inanimate object, naturally cannot escape the restriction-breaking talisman. This will allow them to easily take away the 5 elements talisman. It came to a sudden realization. In that case, wouldn't the 5 elements talisman be obtained by them? Xiaoping frowned. He was very happy that he had obtained the restriction-breaking talisman. This was because in the future, if he encountered a formation that he could not break, he could use the restriction-breaking talisman. However, he was also a little worried. If the restriction formation of the 5 elements shrine was broken by the opponent, didn't it mean that the 5 elements spiritual talismans had been refined by the opponent? Corinne shook his head. Rest assured, The 5 Elements Spirit Talisman has a restrictive array formation left behind by Old Master. It is incomparably complex and extremely mysterious. If you don't practice star guiding art, you simply won't be able to refine it. Only a sage will be able to break the restrictive array formation of the Spirit Talisman. However, this is the dense fog star field. There are mysterious interference forces everywhere. Even the power of a sage can't affect this place. Even if the mysterious Heaven sect built a spacetime gate, it is not easy to maintain a stable spacetime gate. If a cultivator who is too powerful comes over, it will destroy the stable passageway of the spacetime gate. Therefore, they can only let cultivators below the Golden Core realm come over. If cultivators above this realm dare to come over, they will immediately destroy the spatial passageway and be buried in the depths of spacetime. It was very experienced and knowledgeable. Even if there were only a few clues, it could still infer a lot of information. But it doesn't mean that we can be at ease. Corinne continued. This group of people has arrived at the 5 Elements planet. I reckon that they are only the vanguard. Their purpose is to build a stable spacetime gate, so that the mysterious Heaven sect's army can arrive, and even let the sage pass through. Once they successfully build the spacetime gate, this planet will completely belong to the mysterious Heaven sect. No one will be able to drive them away from this place. Its expression was very solemn and worried. This kind of thing must not be allowed. We must destroy it. Xiaoping clenched his fists. He had already regarded this planet as his territory. These people from the mysterious Heaven sect actually dared to come here and fight for territory with him. They were simply courting death. His body was filled with a terrifying killing intent. Yes, we must destroy their plan to build the spacetime gate. Corinne nodded in agreement. But we don't need to worry too much now. After all, building the spacetime gate is an intricate and long-term project. They won't be able to succeed in a short time. It comforted Xiaoping. This was not the most urgent time. Let's test them first and see how strong the mysterious Heaven sect really is. Xiaoping decided not to clash with this group of mysterious Heaven sect disciples for the time being. As the saying goes, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will always be victorious. He wanted to investigate the mysterious Heaven sect's strength before making a move. At this moment, on the other side of the 5 Elements planet, near an Earth-type temple, a large number of Earth-type wild beasts were scattered in every corner. The disciples of the mysterious Heaven sect, the Great Sky sect, and the Mingyue court were gathered here. They were simply like killing gods, sweeping through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. They were invincible, using all kinds of divine abilities and secret techniques to kill the Earth-type wild beasts. Bang! 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 As the disciples of the mysterious Heaven sect, the Great Sky sect, and the Mingyue court fought with all their might, the Earth-type wild beasts died one after another. Their Earth-type beast cores were plundered from their bodies, and the ground was bombarded until it trembled and huge craters appeared. An hour later, all the Earth-type wild beasts near the Earth-type temple were killed. Break! Ronghang, the Golden Core perfected master of the mysterious Heaven sect, came before the Earth-type temple and took out a black restriction-breaking talisman. He cast a spell and immediately blasted the talisman onto the restrictive formation. Boom! In the blink of an eye, the restriction-breaking talisman turned into a black beam of light that slammed into the restrictive spell formation. Instantly, a terrifying power exploded out. All the restrictive spell formations were destroyed by the black beams of light one after another. It was as though space was being torn apart, and all the runes on the spell formation were being torn apart. The power of the spell formation was practically formless. Dong! In the next second, the temple was shattered, and all the Earth-type Yuan Qi was condensed into a single point, turning into an Earth-type talisman. Ronghang grabbed the talisman in his hand, and a look of excitement appeared on his face. However, before he could say anything, a golden talisman suddenly tore through the void and landed in front of Ronghang. It buzzed and emitted a dazzling golden light. The other disciples of the mysterious Heaven sect saw this as well, and their expressions changed drastically. What? This is a help talisman? What exactly happened? Why are their disciples asking for help? Rong Heng's expression changed as well. Of course, he also recognized this golden talisman as the help talisman of the mysterious heaven sect. Chapter 1458. Whoosh! Rong Heng grabbed the golden talisman and sent his consciousness into it. Immediately, a huge amount of information flowed into his mind. Very soon, he knew the cause and effect of this matter, and his face immediately became gloomy. Brother Rong Heng, what happened? A mysterious heaven sect disciple saw that Rong Heng's expression wasn't right, and immediately asked. See for yourselves. Rong Heng waved his hand, and immediately sent the message of the talisman into everyone's mind. Suddenly, all the mysterious heaven sect disciples understood what had happened. Before, Chu Hen and the others had gone to the metal temple to get the metal talisman. However, they had been killed by a native. The problem was that when they sent out the talisman, they were already dead. This wasn't a talisman, but a talisman used to send information. However, such a matter shocked all the disciples of the mysterious heaven sect. They thought that there wouldn't be any danger in this mission, and that it was just a normal trial. However, even a golden core cultivator like Chu Hen had died. This greatly shocked them. Impossible. Brother Chu Hen and the others are all dead. Killed by a native. This is a big joke. Brother Chu Hen is a golden core cultivator. Even if he can't beat the enemy, he can still escape. At the very least, he can explode his golden core and die with the enemy. Now he's dead. Even the explosion of his golden core can't do anything. Plotted against. That native definitely plotted against Brother Chu Hen. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. Damn native. How dare he kill a mysterious heaven sect disciple? He's looking for death. Immediately find that damned native and exterminate his entire clan. No one can kill a mysterious heaven sect disciple without paying a price. That native will die for sure. Brother Rong Heng, let's move immediately and find that native. We'll tear him into pieces. All the mysterious heaven sect disciples were furious. He was just a lowly native, yet he dared to kill someone from the mysterious heaven sect. This was an insult to the mysterious heaven sect's dignity. It was unforgivable. Everyone, don't worry. Rong Heng snorted coldly. The help talisman has recorded the native's aura. As long as he's still on this planet, he'll definitely die. Even if we have to dig 3 feet into the ground, we'll find that damned bastard and tear him apart. His body emitted a terrifying murderous aura that condensed into a substance, causing countless cultivators to feel a chill in their hearts. Convey my orders. Immediately get all the senior and junior brothers to search for that native's whereabouts. If they discover him, immediately kill him on the spot. We absolutely can't let him escape. Rong Heng gave the order to hunt down that native. Yes, many of the mysterious heaven sect disciples were filled with killing intent. The reason they wanted to kill this native wasn't that simple. It wasn't just because he had killed more than a dozen mysterious heaven sect disciples. More importantly, the other party had obtained the metal elemental spirit talisman, causing the 5 elemental spirit talisman to be incomplete. Only when the 5 elemental spirit talismans were gathered would it be possible to completely control the restriction formation of this planet. So no matter what, they had to find that native and seize the metal-type talisman. In the distance, the disciples of the Great Sky Sect and Mingyue Court also saw this scene. Through the words of the mysterious Heaven Sect disciples, they more or less understood what had happened. The mysterious Heaven Sect disciples didn't intend to hide it from the people of the Great Sky Sect and Mingyue Court. After all, this matter was too big to be concealed. I didn't expect Chu Hen and his group to actually die. This is really unbelievable. Chu Hen is a Golden Core Realm perfected master, and he has more than a dozen elite disciples of the mysterious Heaven Sect with him. They are at least in the true Fire Realm. This kind of strength is enough to wipe out tens of thousands of wild beasts. Who can stop them? Yeah, not to mention that Chu Hen is also a famous Golden Core perfected master. His combat strength is tyrannical, and he is proficient in the Sword Dao superpower, Heaven Scar Sword technique. His swordsmanship is unparalleled, and can be said to be divine. Even if he can't beat the enemy, he can still escape. The problem is, Chu Hen can't even escape. and his golden core can't self-destruct. This is really unbelievable. It's not that hard to understand. It can only be said that the danger hidden in this planet is greater than we thought. Even the indigenous people of this planet may have hidden terrifying means. We can't be careless. Indeed, we must immediately inform our fellow disciples. Otherwise, if they are careless and think that they are invincible on this planet, they will fail miserably. At that time, we will really become a joke. The faces of the disciples of the two sects were solemn, because Chu Hen's death had brought great shock to them. After all, he was a golden core perfected master, and his ability to survive was unparalleled. Experts like him rarely perished under normal circumstances. But now one of them had actually died. His golden core couldn't self-destruct, and he died with his eyes wide open. This was really too exaggerated. Senior brother, the people of the mysterious heaven sect are here. They seem to be asking us to accompany them, to find the indigenous murderer. What should we do? A disciple of the Great Sky sect asked immediately, looking at the golden core perfected master of their sect. Just now, a disciple of the mysterious heaven sect sent a message to the cultivators of the two sects, asking them to arrest the indigenous murderer who killed the disciples of the mysterious heaven sect. We can't go. That indigenous person is someone who can even kill a golden core perfected master. Do we really not want to live if we dare to chase such a murderer? That's right. Those disciples of the mysterious heaven sect are simply taking advantage of the situation. They want us to die and be cannon fodder. We definitely can't agree to such a thing, and we don't have to care about it either. That's easy for you to say. Right now, our interests are aligned with the mysterious heaven sect. If the mysterious heaven sect is unlucky, we will definitely be unlucky along with them. We have no choice but to go. That's true. We still need to go and search for them as an explanation. Everyone, don't work too hard. Just be careful. We just need to deal with the people of the mysterious heaven sect. That's a good idea. We just need to deal with them. They must be dreaming if they want us to be cannon fodder for the mysterious heaven sect. I really hope that the indigenous person can kill a few more golden core perfected masters of the mysterious heaven sect. Let's see if they dare to continue being arrogant. The golden cores of the two major sects discussed the matter fervently. They were unwilling to agree to the mysterious heaven sect's request. After all, the other party was a murderer who could kill golden cores. Even if they might have used some despicable methods, they could not deny that the other party could definitely fight against golden cores. If such a fiend were to really go berserk, it was not impossible for him to drag a few golden cores down with him before he died. However, the three sects were on the same side and could not find any reason to decline. Instantly, the disciples of the three sects took action to search for the murderer. A day later, on a plain where the spatial gate of the three sects was located, the disciples of the three sects were guarding the place in case the spatial gate was destroyed. Chapter 1459. Mingyue Court, Juntian Order, and Xiantian sect were stationed at the temporary space-time gate. This plain had been surrounded by the three sections. In just one day, many houses had been built within a radius of 100 miles, turning it into a small town, divided into three major residential areas. This was a trivial matter, for the Saint-level section's 3D printing technology could build a huge city in a few hours, as long as there were enough materials. If that was all, it would be fine. This small town itself was a formation of heaven and earth, combining defense and attack. If ordinary cultivators wanted to invade, they would die. It could be said that in order to build a permanent space-time gate, they had prepared a lot. However, such a defensive formation was useless in front of the sacred relic, the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers. Xiaoping used the power of the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers to escape into the void, easily appearing at the headquarters of the three sects without anyone noticing. His body was now wrapped in a mass of spatial energy, as if he had entered a different dimension. The disciples of the three sects came and went around Xiaoping, ignoring him. They did not know that there was an intruder standing next to them, and they could not feel anything. I didn't expect that the forces invading Planet 5 Elements were not only the Xiantian sect, but also the other two sects, Juntian Order and Mingyue Court. Xiaoping touched his chin. He had sneaked into this place and learned a lot of information. The three sects had a total of 3,000 elites, and each sect had 12 golden core perfected masters. Each disciple was at least in the divinity realm, and there were many treasure refining realm and true fire realm disciples. It could be said that this was a tyrannical force. Of course, now that he had killed one golden core perfected master, there were only 11 left in the Xiantian sect. Even so, their power was quite amazing, and the natives of Planet 5 Elements could hardly shake them. At this time they split into several groups. Some went to snatch the 5 Elements talismans, and some stayed in place to build the Eternal Spacetime Gate. Once the Eternal Spacetime Gate was built, they would be able to send a steady stream of elites over. This is a little troublesome. Xiaoping touched his chin and stared at a spacetime gate in the distance. According to the progress of these people, the Eternal Spacetime Gate would be built in a month. No need to worry, Corinne confidently said. As long as we can snatch all the 5 Elements spirit talismans and completely control this planet's 5 Elements dragon sealing demon great array, no matter how many people these 3 big sects have, they will all turn into fine powder. Although the 3 major sects had a lot of combat power, compared to the backup left behind by the saints, they were like ants, not even worth mentioning. It was full of confidence. That's fine. Let them help us collect the 5 Elements talismans. We'll make our move after they've collected all of them. Xiaoping formulated a plan. When the mysterious Heaven sect disciples obtained the remaining 4 talismans, he would snatch them and kill them in one strike. There's a sound. Suddenly, Xiaoping happened to pass by a large courtyard. His divine sense sensed that there were 2 female voices inside. One of them was very powerful and had reached the Golden Core realm. A female voice said, "Is everything ready?" "Don't worry, Senior Sister Wu." Another female voice said, "Qiu Xue and Su Mei, those 2 bitches, didn't notice our plan at all. They foolishly followed our people out to hunt and quickly set off. As long as they leave this place, we can make our move at any time and end the lives of those 2 vixens. I guarantee that no one will be able to save them." Her tone was very smug as she plotted. Well done. They're just new disciples who just came to Moon Court. It's one thing if they don't behave themselves, but they're so arrogant, stirring up trouble everywhere, and even winning the favor of the Great Elder. If this continues, how can we, the senior sisters, continue to live? Won't the 2 of them climb on our heads and piss on us in the future? This kind of thing is absolutely not allowed. Senior Sister Wu sneered, her words full of jealousy. But Senior Sister Wu, to be honest, they're just 2 new disciples. Why do you care? Is there a need to go through so much trouble to deal with them? Another female asked. That's not true. Although those 2 are from a primitive planet, the problem is that they were brought back by Elder Wang. If we act too brazenly, we'll also be punished by the sect. We might even be executed, Senior Sister Wu said. But it's different in the dense fog galaxy. This place is full of danger. Even a Golden Core realm enlightened being can die. It's normal for those 2 new disciples to die here. Although the Great Elder admires the 2 of them, it's just admiration. If they die here, then even the Great Elder can't do anything about it. Moreover, these 2 little girls are not simple. They have amazing talent. In just 2 years, they've risen from the Purple Mansion realm to the peak of the Transcendent realm. They're even showing signs of stepping into the Artifact Refinement realm at any time. This kind of cultivation speed is too fast. If we don't suppress them, the world will be theirs in the future. There's no way for us to survive. Right now, who knows how many senior sisters in the sect want these 2 dead. After all, the sect only has so many resources. If they're all taken away by them, are we going to starve in the future? She didn't hide her killing intent towards Qiu Xue and Su Mei. This was the cruelty of the universe. Those who stood in their way naturally had to die, regardless of whether they were junior sisters or not. Indeed, it's like what Senior Sister Wu said. Those 2 are incomparably virtuous. They refused to join our force, even when we asked them to. Since that's the case, then let them die. This way, they won't be able to stand in our way. who asked them to be natives without any background. The other girl also deeply agreed. In fact, she was also extremely jealous of Su Mei and Qiuxue. Why were these two able to obtain the great elder's favor, while they couldn't even do anything to please him? This world was really too unfair. Let's go. It's almost time. They should be departing soon. Let's follow them immediately. Senior Sister Wu said in a deep voice. Remember to report their whereabouts to me at all times. I'll rush over immediately. Yes, Senior Sister Wu, the other woman immediately said, and then left the mansion. Qiuxue? Su Mei. Hearing this, Xiaoping's eyes revealed a trace of light. He was naturally very familiar with these two names. One was his high school teacher, and the other was Su Ji's sister. Both of them were exceptional beauties that were hard to forget. Although in the universe, there were many people with the same name and surname, the problem was that two people with the same name just so happened to be the same. Was there such a coincidence? No matter what, he still decided to follow this girl. He wanted to see if she was someone he was familiar with. After all, Qiuxue was his teacher. She had once educated him. Now that she was in danger, he couldn't just stand by and watch. Whoosh! Chapter 1460. Several hours later, in a forest hundreds of miles away from the spatial gate, a team from Mingyue Court appeared there, led by 4 or 5 senior sisters, at the peak of treasure refinement level. The rest were all divine level. They had formed a team to kill the 5 elements beasts. Because the beast cores of the 5 elements beasts contained pure and majestic energy, it was equivalent to a supreme-grade medicinal pill. Obtaining one would bring great benefits, so the planet was full of treasures. The disciples of Mingyue Court were very excited. It was a great opportunity for them. After all, there were not so many 5 elements beasts to kill in other places. Su Mei and Qiuxue were naturally in this team as well. Bam bam bam. Qiuxue struck with her sword, freezing everything within 1,000 miles. Her sword will was like 1,000-year-old ice, killing a dozen beasts in an instant. They split open in the middle, their corpses almost frozen into ice cubes. The place where she stood was covered in a thick layer of ice. Even the surrounding grass and trees were frozen, as if it had turned into a world of ice and snow. Even when the sun shone, it still emitted cold air and would not melt for years. Not to be outdone, Su Mei took out a bell and jingled it. Illusory psychic waves appeared in the air, distorting everything within a few miles. One by one, the beasts became disoriented as if they had fallen into an illusion, unable to tell directions. She immediately stepped forward and lightly patted the beasts, causing their bodies to explode in an instant. They were unable to resist at all. Senior Sister Qiuxue is so powerful. It is said that she has successfully cultivated the 9 Heavens Frost Force, the sacred ultimate art of the sect. After devouring the Xianming Frost Qi, her ice spells are unparalleled. Even a cultivator at the initial stage of treasure refinement would be killed by her sword. It is indeed terrifying. The Xianming Frost Qi is comparable to the ice of heaven and earth. Ordinary flames cannot melt it, and once an enemy touches it, their blood will immediately freeze, and they will die on the spot. Her body emits a terrifying chill at all times. If ordinary cultivators get close, their limbs will be frozen stiff, and their strength will be impaired. She is so powerful. Although we can all learn the 9th Heaven's frozen dark force, the problem is that even if we wanted to learn it, there are not many people in the sect who can do it. This is talent. No wonder the Great Elder has taken a liking to her. In time, she will be the Virgin of Mingyue Court. Senior Sister Su Mei is not bad either. She has successfully cultivated the 6 Hells demonic tome, and her divine sense is 10 times stronger than normal cultivators. She has also devoured the 6 Hells demonic qi, and her every move has a bewitching aura. If an ordinary person were to get close to it, they would be mesmerized and fall into the 6 Hells illusory realm, dying silently. Those savage beasts were easily killed just like that. Senior Sister Su Mei and Senior Sister Qiuxue are the most outstanding geniuses in Mingyue Court in recent years. It's a pity that they don't know how to behave themselves. It seems that their personalities are too tough, and they've offended quite a few senior sisters. What tough? It's those senior sisters who are too much of a bully. As soon as they come, they want us to pour tea, pass water, wash clothes and fold blankets. They order us around like maids. Who can stand this kind of thing? Su Mei and senior sister Qiuxue just can't stand this kind of behavior, so they have a conflict with the senior sisters. That's all. Shut up. This is the senior sisters' business. Don't talk about it. Do you want to die? Quite a few female disciples of Mingyue court were discussing among themselves. However, when this matter was brought up, they all shut up. After all, they didn't want to be involved in the dispute between their senior sisters. They are indeed very talented. However, geniuses who haven't grown up are just ants. Moreover, I won't give you two the chance to grow up. In the distance, a peak stage treasure refining realm disciple of Mingyue court revealed a trace of jealousy in her eyes. She hated these kinds of talented women the most. Every time one of them appeared, she would want to destroy them. Strange. After killing so many savage beasts, Su Mei didn't look happy at all. She used her divine sense to send a message. Qiuxue, don't you feel that something is wrong? It's as if there's evil intentions all around. I'm afraid this mission of killing savage beasts won't be that simple. She had cultivated the 6 Hells demonic tome, so she had all kinds of control over people's hearts. She was also very sensitive to danger. Immediately, she felt that this forest was full of danger. It's indeed a little strange. Qiuxue's beautiful eyes also revealed a trace of coldness. She also felt that something was wrong. Those few senior sisters of the treasure refining realm are filled with killing intent. They are targeting us everywhere. They even led us into the depths of the forest from time to time. I'm afraid it's a trap. It seems like we shouldn't stay here any longer. Let's find an excuse to leave the group and leave. It's not that easy to leave now. Do you see those senior sisters of the treasure refining realm? They are purposely scattered in every corner. Su Mei said. On the surface, it looks like they are protecting us junior sisters from the sudden appearance of savage beasts. In reality, it's to prevent us from escaping. They have sealed off our positions. Their intentions are very sinister. Don't worry. I have a few teleportation talismans on me. I can teleport 1,000 miles instantly. I can return to the camp at any time. Qiuxue said in a low voice. Once we return to the camp, under the watchful eyes of everyone, I'm afraid that this group of people won't dare to act rashly. After all, killing a fellow disciple is a great taboo in any sect. It's a capital crime. I still feel that it's a little dangerous. Now I'll test them and alert them. Let's see if we can leave and find out their plan. Su Mei wanted to test the senior sisters. Speaking up to this point, she suddenly looked at the senior sisters of Mingyue court and said, Senior sisters, I suddenly feel a little uncomfortable. I want to return to the camp to rest. Let's call it a day. Is that okay? Oh, junior sister Su, you don't feel well? Is there a problem? If you want to return to the camp, that's naturally not a problem. Let me send you. A girl in green revealed a trace of coldness in her eyes. However, she still put on a look of concern. There's no need. I have a teleportation talisman on me. I can return to the camp in an instant. There's no need for senior sisters to help me. Su Mei smiled faintly. She said that she had a teleportation talisman on her and could return in an instant. Damn it. This bitch seems to have discovered something. She wants to escape. Don't wait anymore. If she really uses the teleportation talisman to return to the camp, I'm afraid we won't have another chance. As expected of a genius who has cultivated the 6 Hells demonic book, it seems like she has discovered something. Unfortunately, we've set up an inescapable trap this time. There's no way she can escape. Activate the formation immediately. Seal the sky and lock the ground. The few treasure refining realm girls of Mingyue court communicated with their divine senses. They immediately saw each other's consciousness. They formed a seal with both hands, and immediately activated the heaven and earth formation that had been set up in this place. Boom! In an instant, a heaven and earth formation appeared, covering a radius of 100 miles. It sealed the sky and locked the ground. Even the space seemed to be frozen. What? Chapter 1461. Senior sisters, what is the meaning of this? Su Mei's face was very serious. She secretly used the small shifting talisman on her, but found that it was useless. The surrounding space had been sealed by the heaven-earth formation, so there was no way to escape. Presumably, these senior sisters already knew that she had a small shifting talisman. So in order to prevent her from escaping, they had set up a space-sealing heaven-earth formation in this forest. Qiuxiu frowned. She knew how difficult it was to set up a space-sealing heaven-earth formation. Not only was it time-consuming, but it also required a lot of resources. Many cultivators might not be able to get the materials to set up a formation, even if they sold everything they had. But now, in order to deal with the two of them, this group of people had gone to this extent. They were willing to pay any price to kill them here. It seemed that today's situation was very dangerous, with only a slim chance of survival. What do you mean? Don't play dumb. At this point, don't you know what's going on? Su Mei Qiuxiu, you two will die here today. No one can save you. A woman in cyan had a ruthless look on her face. She was full of murderous intent. Senior Sister Lu, what are you doing? Are you going to kill Senior Sister Su and Senior Sister Qiuxiu? Isn't it a big crime to kill a fellow disciple? Some of the disciples of Mingyue Court were shocked. They didn't expect this to happen. Today was supposed to be an operation to kill wild beasts, but now it had become a shocking killing trap for Su Mei and Qiuxiu. The change was too fast. Bang! Bang! Before the disciples of Mingyue Court could figure out what was going on, the woman in cyan immediately attacked. Dozens of sword chi shot out and bombarded the new disciples of Mingyue Court. In an instant they were killed on the spot. They couldn't escape. There were only 4 or 5 disciples of Mingyue Court. Qiuxiu and Su Mei left. The others were all dead. You even killed these innocent disciples? Qiuxiu's beautiful eyes showed a trace of anger. Of course. Who told them to know too much? They can only blame their bad luck. When they followed you out to train, it meant that they were already corpses. The woman in cyan had a cold look on her face. It seemed that killing these junior sisters was not a difficult decision. It was as simple as killing a few ants. Don't even think about escaping. This entire forest has a space-sealing array. You won't be able to leave with the minor shifting talismans on you. Just give up. She looked at Qiuxiu and Su Mei as if she was looking at dead people. You don't dare to kill us. Su Mei's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of coldness. We have the sage's mark on us. Whoever kills us will have the sage's mark on them. At that time, your evil deeds will be exposed. Even if you have someone backing you, they can't save you. They were the disciples of the sage. Although they were not the disciples of the sage yet, it was only a matter of time. Therefore, the sage left a mark on them as a warning to the enemy. Of course we have considered this point. Suddenly, another figure walked out from the depths of the forest, emitting a powerful aura. It was a perfected being at Golden Core Realm. She wore white robes and suppressed everyone present. Senior Sister Wu, Su Mei and Qiuxiu as pupils constricted. They immediately recognized that the woman in white was one of the 12 Golden Core Perfected Masters who led the team. They didn't expect that even the Golden Core Perfected Masters would make a move to deal with them. I didn't expect Senior Sister Wu to make a move to kill us. This is really like using a sledgehammer to kill chickens. Qiuxiu stared at the woman in white. Senior Sister Wu, even a lion will try its best to catch a rabbit. Moreover, the two of you are disciples favored by the sage. Who knows what tricks you have? If we let you escape because of a moment of carelessness, we will be finished. No matter how cautious we are, it's never too much. The woman in white, Senior Sister Wu, sneered. With me around, you won't be able to escape no matter what tricks you have. TSK. As expected of Mingyue Pavilion's Wuxia. You are indeed ruthless. You won't even let go of your junior sister. I admire you. At this moment another figure walked out. It was a young man in black. He had a frivolous look on his face, like a hedonistic son of a rich family. Xintian Sect's Golden Core Perfected Master, Fang Jingjiao. Qiuxiu and Su Mei clenched their fists. They naturally knew the identity of the man in black in front of them. He was another Golden Core Perfected Master. Wuxia, a Golden Core Perfected Master, was enough to kill them dozens of times. Now that another one had appeared, it was simply a situation of certain death. There was no way to escape. Cut the crap. Wu Zixia snorted coldly. I asked you to come here so that you can kill these two women. This is the deal between you and me. Of course, if you are not willing to do it, I can knock them out and let the beasts kill them. It will have the same effect. She had many ways to avoid the sage's mark. She could let the beasts on this planet kill Qiuxiu and Su Mei so that they would not suspect her. However, she had cooperated with Fang Jingjiao, and he knew about this matter. Hence, both parties made a deal. If she handed the two women over to Fang Jingjiao, she would be able to obtain many benefits. There would be a large number of elixirs that were beneficial to her cultivation. Since the two women were going to die anyway, she might as well make use of them. Junior sister Wu, don't be angry. I was just joking. How can I not want such exquisite women? Looking at Qiuxiu and Su Mei, Fang Jingjiao's eyes were filled with greed. Both of them are heaven's favored girls with extraordinary potential. If I can pluck them, it will definitely be beneficial to my cultivation. I will definitely not let go of such prey. In reality, he had his eyes on Qiuxiu and Su Mei for a long time. They were both disciples of Mingyue court and were favored by the sage. Normally, he would not have any chance to touch them. However, things were different now. The disciples of Mingyue court were fighting among themselves and had even set up a killing trap to kill the two. Hence, he stepped in and obtained the two women. He felt his heart stirring. Such exquisite women, if they continued to develop normally, would definitely become the saintess of a major sect. They would be high and mighty like fairies in the sky. They could be watched from afar, but not played with. Now, he actually had the chance to pluck them. It was a great opportunity, a pie falling from the sky. Junior sister Qiuxiu, junior sister Su, come over here. Let's have some fun later. Fang Jingjiao laughed wickedly. He immediately reached out and clawed at them. Immediately, Su Mei and Qiuxiu felt their bodies being sealed by a heaven and earth formation. The qi around them turned into ropes. The power was so strong that it completely crushed them. The gap between them was too big. One was in the divine state, and the other was in the golden core state. The difference of 2 or 3 major realms was practically endless. How could they resist? Whoosh! At that moment, a black spear pierced through the void with unparalleled ferocity. It instantly pierced through the qi claw and tore through everything, reaching Fang Jingjiao's chest. What? Chapter 1462. The person who attacked was Xia Ping. With the power of the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers, he had been following the disciples of the Mingyue court, hiding at the side and not being discovered by anyone. Initially, he was just watching the show. However, when he saw that Qiuxiu and Su Mei were in a desperate situation, and that 2 perfected golden core cultivators were attacking, he knew that he had to make a move. Otherwise, if the 2 perfected golden core cultivators really wanted to kill Qiuxiu and Su Mei, the 2 of them would probably be killed in an instant. Therefore, he chose to attack and stab Fang Jingjiao to death. Damn it, who is it? How dare you attack Fang Jingjiao? Fang Jingjiao was both shocked and furious. Even if he was beaten to death, he would never have thought that at this critical moment, there would actually be someone who would interfere and kill him in an instant. He was a perfected golden core cultivator, and his divine sense was extremely sensitive. Logically speaking, no one should be able to hide from his divine sense. Not to mention, there was also a heaven and earth formation that sealed off the surrounding space. Anyone who entered this formation would have nowhere to hide. They would be instantly exposed by their spells and would have nowhere to hide. Even so, he did not notice that there was someone lying in ambush. It was really unbelievable. Moreover, this spear was extremely terrifying and contained the power to kill a perfected golden core cultivator. The tip of the spear emitted wisps of hellish aura, tearing through the void and piercing through the demon. There was a vague sound of countless ghosts and gods wailing, sending chills down one's spine. If he was pierced by this spear, he would definitely die. Even his soul would be torn apart. Heaven and earth chessboard. Fang Jingjiao was a perfected golden core cultivator after all. At this critical moment, he completely unleashed the power of a golden core cultivator. The golden core in his body trembled and endless dermic power surged out. Immediately, a formation of heaven and earth appeared around him. Golden lines intertwined with each other like a chessboard. Above the lines on the chessboard, many black and white chess pieces appeared. These chess pieces were all divine ability talismans, containing pure yang and pure yin energy. The two completely opposite black and white chess pieces approached each other and attracted each other like magnets. Then, they immediately exploded, producing a terrifying explosion in the void and stirring up the heaven and earth. Mystic Heaven Sect Mystical Ability, Heaven and Earth Chessboard. The disciples of Mingyue Court immediately recognized it as the celestial chessboard, which was unique to the Black Heaven sect. It was said that once one successfully cultivated it, they would be able to control the pure yang qi and pure yin qi. In an instant, he was able to condense a heavenly chessboard grand formation within his body, and it instantly erupted, sealing the heavens and locking the earth, forming a heavenly chessboard domain that covered an area of 500 kilometers. Then, the black and white chess pieces appeared on the chessboard and attracted each other. Pure yin qi and pure yang qi were incompatible with each other, and like nuclear fission, they produced a terrifying explosion that shook the heavens and the earth. It was said that if this divine ability was cultivated to the extreme, a heaven and earth chessboard could instantly refine all the living beings on a planet to death. Who are they? Qiushue and Su Mei were surprised and bewildered instead. They didn't know exactly who this person that suddenly appeared was, and he was actually able to go against a golden core realm expert. After all, Xia Ping's attack speed was too fast, and they couldn't see what he looked like. However, it was rather beneficial for them to have someone stand up against the golden core perfected ones. Perhaps they might have a chance of survival. Hell's Demon Suppression Spear, First Form Nature. Suddenly, as though he had sensed the change in Fang Zhengjiao's move, the Hell's Spear in Xia Ping's hands danced immediately. The roars of dragons and tigers, and the wails of ghosts and gods, shook the world as a terrifying power of hell burst forth. In the void, the spear shadows blasted out one after another. One after another, the words of hell flew out from the body of the Hell's Spear. Every single word of hell was distorted like ants from hell, and they were filled with hellish flames that burned fiercely. One after another, the words of hell appeared densely and formed a peerless article, as though it was writing the history of hell and creating a 1,000-year legend. One after another, the peerless article appeared, turning into a 1,000-year history book. In the blink of an eye, the 1,000-year history book turned into a gigantic painting of hell, with winds and clouds surging and suppressing the heavens. It was as though the plane of hell had descended into the mortal world, with ghosts and gods wreaking havoc and evil ghosts running amok. This place had turned into hell on earth. Dong. Immediately, the heaven and earth chessboard was smashed by the spear, shattering like glass. With a crackling sound, the black and white chess pieces fell to the ground, creating huge craters. In fact, the entire heaven and earth chessboard was covered in hellish flames. It was like gasoline being ignited, burning fiercely. Every bit of energy of heaven and earth was turned into fuel for the hellish flames, spreading for miles. Ah! Fang Zhengjia screamed. Because the heaven and earth chessboard was destroyed, his mystique was destroyed, and he was severely injured. His organs were suffering from the backlash, and he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood like a fountain. In fact, the hellish flames even seeped into his body, using his flesh as fuel and starting to burn. Damn piece of trash, I'll never forgive you. Fang Zhengjia was infuriated. He burned the power of his Jindan, wanting to fight with all his might. You won't have a chance. Xia Ping dashed forward and stabbed out with the spear, piercing Fang Zhengjiao's body. At this moment, Fang Zhengjiao's martial mystique, the heaven and earth chessboard, was broken, and he was suffering from the backlash. He had no strength to fight back at all, and could only watch as the spear stabbed towards him. No, no, no! Fang Zhengjia screamed, his eyes filled with fear. He tried to beg for mercy, but it was too late. Dong! In an instant, his body was pierced by the spear. His entire body was torn apart, and the air exploded. A huge mushroom cloud erupted in the sky, and the energy of heaven and earth was in chaos. In the next second, Fang Zhengjiao turned into ashes, evaporating from the world. Only a jindan was left on the ground, and this jindan naturally fell into Xia Ping's hands. How is this possible? This is a jindan perfected one, and he was killed by a spear just like that. The disciples of Mingyue court were shocked, and they trembled when they saw this scene. They knew how powerful Fang Zhengjiao was. As one of the 12 perfected golden cores who led the team from Xintian sect, there was no doubt that he was much more powerful than many of the perfected golden cores from Mingyue court. However, such a powerful person was killed by a spear just like that, by someone who suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Although Fang Zhengjiao was also careless, and the enemy's sudden sneak attack caught him off guard, the fact that he was able to kill Fang Zhengjiao with a spear was enough to prove how powerful the enemy was. The disciples of Mingyue court, who were present, felt a chill in their hearts. The appearance of such a powerful enemy made them no longer want to kill Qiuxiu and Su Mei. Their minds were filled with the thought of running for their lives. Not only did the ordinary disciples think so, even Wu Caixia, who was a perfected one in the Golden Core realm, had the same thought. She shuddered, and no one knew better than her how powerful that spear was. Chapter 1463. Xiaoping. Both Qiuxiu and Su Mei were shocked. No one was more shocked than them, because after the battle ended, they realized that the person who saved them was someone they were familiar with. Normally, Xiaoping should still be in the cloud world. After all, only 2 years had passed. Even if they racked their brains, they would never have imagined that they would see Xiaoping again on planet 5 elements in the dense fog star field. This was simply unbelievable. What shocked them even more was that Xiaoping's strength had far surpassed theirs. He could kill a golden elixir realm cultivator head-on. This strength was so strong that it made people's hair stand on end. 2 years ago, everyone's martial arts level was about the same. Moreover, they had joined the saint-level sect, Moon Court, received sufficient training, and learned saint-level unique skills. Even so, they couldn't compare to Xiaoping's speed of advancement. This was a little too exaggerated. Run! In an instant, Wu Caixia immediately fled. She couldn't care less about her junior sisters. If he could kill Fang Zhengjiao, a golden elixir realm cultivator, she would die if she stayed here. Swoosh! She used her extreme speed and turned into a rainbow, escaping quickly. This was the Moon Court's extremely powerful speed magic, flying rainbow technique. Her speed was so fast that ordinary people couldn't catch up at all. Magic Great Yin-Yang Tablet Smashing Palm. Xiaoping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. There seemed to be yin and yang currents swirling in the depths of his pupils. He slapped out with an earth-shattering palm. This palm was all-encompassing, as if it was holding China in its palm. It encompassed the universe and swept across all directions. The yin-yang formation enveloped everything within a radius of 1,000 miles, and the qi of heaven and earth was attracted. What? Wu Caixia was extremely shocked because this palm pressed down. The surrounding qi of heaven and earth seemed to turn into a swamp, hindering her from moving forward. Even her speed was slowed down. This palm even locked onto her aura. It crossed the space and crushed towards her. In the next second, her entire body was grabbed by a big hand. She exploded inch by inch and was violently flung. Immediately, her body fell from midair like a bird with broken wings. Dong! The ground immediately shook into a huge pit. There was a cracking sound and soil flew everywhere. This palm exploded with terrifying shockwaves that swept out in all directions. The surrounding trees were all turned into dust. This was a palm that could destroy heaven and earth, and it was impossible to block. The other 5 or 6 treasure refining stage disciples of Mingyue court were nearby as well. They were caught off guard and were hit by the aftershock of the palm strike. Just like that, they were killed and turned into a cloud of blood mist. They didn't even have time to scream. Pooh! Wu Caixia also fell heavily to the ground and couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Her clothes were also torn to pieces, revealing her fair skin and graceful figure. With a whoosh, Xiaoping arrived in front of her and looked down at her. No, don't kill me. As long as you spare me, I'm willing to be your slave. I don't care what you want to do to me, Wu Caixia begged. She looked at Xia Ping pleadingly, hoping to sell herself in exchange for her life. She did not hide her beautiful figure at all, hoping that the man in front of her would be interested in her. In order to survive, she would not hesitate to become this man's female slave. What? When Qiu Xue and Su Mei heard these words, they were extremely shocked. Wu Caixia was such an arrogant woman in Mingyue court. Her eyes were at the top of her head, and she was extremely arrogant. She didn't even look at people when she walked. Now, in order to survive, she was willing to become this man's slave. They knew Xia Ping's character. He was shameless and liked to play the flute every night. If he could get a female slave from a big sect, he would probably be ecstatic. There was no doubt that these two men would definitely hook up and collude with each other. They were a match made in heaven. Can I really do anything? Xia Ping's eyes suddenly lit up. He stared at Wu Caixia and looked up and down her figure. He looked like he was tempted. Bah, pervert. Qiu Xue and Su Mei's eyes became more and more unfriendly. Now, Xia Ping's actions really confirmed their inner thoughts. This shameless pervert couldn't resist Wu Caixia's hua, and was about to hook up with her. Perhaps in a moment, these two people would be like dry wood and a raging fire. Of course, as long as you are willing. This servant knows 36 moves in the bedroom. I can let master be a bridegroom every night. You will be glorious in the nirvana, and the aftertaste will be endless. Seeing that Xia Ping seemed to be tempted, Wu Caixia struck while the iron was hot. She showed a charming look and directly called herself a servant, as if she was lowly and at his mercy. This appearance, however, made Qiu Xue and Su Mei even angrier. They wanted to slap this woman. It was simply shameless. She had lost all her dignity as a woman. In order to survive, she actually abandoned her dignity and wagged her tail to a man. She was really shameless to the extreme. She was a disgrace among women, and they were ashamed to be associated with her. Very good. If you didn't want to sneak attack me, maybe I would really agree. Xia Ping suddenly made a move, and a spear stabbed out as fast as lightning. What? Before Wu Caixia could reveal a look of joy, her eyes were filled with panic and unwillingness. In the next second, the black spear had pierced through her head, and the terrifying transcendence energy vibrated, instantly turning her body into dust. A dignified Jindan stage master was beheaded on the spot, just like that. Dead. Qiu Xue and Su Mei were dumbfounded. They didn't expect that Xia Ping would actually kill a flower so ruthlessly. He did not leave any leeway, and stabbed Wu Caixia, a Jindan stage master of Mingyue Pavilion, to death. In fact, Xia Ping had been on guard against Wu Caixia. No matter what, the other party was a Jindan stage master. If he was forced into a desperate situation, she would immediately explode her Jindan and die with him. Moreover, the other party was cruel and merciless. She was like a poisonous scorpion. For such a person, how could he be at ease? He was always monitoring her every move. So when he found that there was something wrong with the other party, he immediately killed her. Bang! At the moment of Wu Caixia's death, a glass bottle in her hand also fell to the ground. It immediately exploded and broke into pieces. Immediately, a cloud of red mist quickly spread out, and the speed was extremely fast. In an instant, the red mist spread for a radius of several miles. Xia Ping, Qiu Xue, and Su Mei were also caught off guard, and were immediately affected by the red mist. Because the speed was too fast, the three of them could not react in time. Moreover, the red mist was very special. Even if they held their breath, they couldn't do anything about it. It penetrated through the Dharma treasures, seeped through the skin, and directly invaded the body. It was extremely invasive. Oh no, I still fell for it. Inhaling the red mist, Xia Ping felt the blood in his body burning. It was even hotter than when he activated the golden crow of Hell bloodline. Even his reason was burned away. At this moment, Su Mei and Qiu Xue seemed to be summoned by instinct and walked towards Xia Ping. You, what do you want to do? Don't mess around, female hooligans. Chapter 1464. One day later, in a hidden cave, after a day of torment, the war finally calmed down. Beast, scumbag, pervert. Qiu Xu glared at Xia Ping. Her pretty face flushed red. She wanted nothing more than to bite Xiaoping to death. Only the heavens knew what kind of nightmare had happened yesterday. She had actually carelessly had an indescribable relationship with this bastard. One had to know that she was this guy's teacher. He even dared to fuck her teacher. This was simply audacious and shameless to the extreme. Of course, if that was all, it would have been fine. But Sume had also fallen for it. With a dragon and 2 phoenixes, this bastard had enjoyed the bliss of having 2 wives. Thinking of what had happened yesterday, she wanted nothing more than to faint and never get up again. She was extremely embarrassed and angry. However, she also knew that this matter could not be blamed on Xiaoping. This was also unavoidable. One had to know that the red mist that leaked out from the broken bottle yesterday was the famous 7-6 mist. This red mist was a natural mist. It was not a poisonous mist, but an extremely strange energy. That was why it ignored all kinds of defenses on their bodies and seeped into their bodies. Once one was hit by this mist, their most primitive instincts would immediately be triggered. If they did not undergo dual cultivation, it would lead to a mental breakdown and death due to the depletion of their blood essence. It was simply impossible to guard against. Previously, Wuxia took out this bottle of mist to deal with Xiaoping. If Xiaoping was hit by this mist, he would immediately become her captive, unable to extricate himself and lose his mind like a beast. Then, she could use her unique divine ability to slowly refine Xiaoping into her slave. Unfortunately, before she could do anything, she was stabbed to death by Xiaoping's spear. However, she did not expect that when the bottle fell, the red mist would still spread out, causing Xiaoping, Sume, and Qiushi to fall for it at the same time. After a day and a night, the effect of the mist was considered to have ended. Tell me, how do you want to solve this matter? Qiushi gritted her teeth and stared at Xiaoping. I feel that we still need to get rid of the root of his trouble, lest he continues to harm other women, Sume said faintly. Her words revealed a dense murderous intent, showing signs of turning evil. Although she had a charming face like a vixen, her personality was very conservative. She had never touched a man before. Now that she had lost her chastity, one could imagine her current grief and indignation. She even wanted to cut off the root of Xiaoping's trouble. In fact, she really did have such a plan. Her beautiful eyes looked at a certain part from time to time. Teacher Qiu, Sister Su, how can you blame me for this? I'm also a victim, and I'm a virgin. I've lost a lot. What you're doing is like an old cow eating young grass. Xiaoping felt that he was also a victim, and was wrongly accused. He was caught off guard for a moment and fell for it. Who's eating the cradle? Don't you have any shame? Sume spat at Xiaoping. She was so angry that she almost died. It was obvious that she had taken advantage of Xiaoping, but he still revealed an appearance as if he was the victim. His skin was so thick that there was no end to it. Victim my ass. So what if you're a naked man? You're not allowed to call me teacher anymore. Qiushi was so ashamed that she wanted to die. Especially when she heard the word teacher, she felt even more ashamed and angry. It was as if she had done something terrible and violated all kinds of morals. If you don't want to scream, then don't scream. Anyway, just pretend that this never happened. It's like a dream. Anyway, isn't this kind of thing very common in modern society? A one-night stand or something. Xiaoping said. What do you mean? Do you want to be irresponsible and take off your pants? Sume's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of dangerous light. Although she also wanted to forget about this matter and treat it as a dream, the problem was that she was the only one who brought up this matter. Now that Xiaoping said it, wouldn't that mean that she was the one who was dumped? She was the kind of woman who was abandoned by a man. Regarding this matter, she couldn't tolerate it. Her pride wouldn't allow it. Qiushi's expression was also very unkind as she stared at Xiaoping. Of course not. Actually, I also want to marry the two of you. I'm just afraid that the two of you won't agree. Xiaoping blinked his eyes. Qiushi spat. Dream on. You still want to marry the two of us? She wanted to bite Xiaoping to death. Wait, you don't have any relationship with my sister, right? Sume suddenly thought of this problem. She remembered that her sister seemed to have a scandal with this bastard. But she was busy advancing to the Purple Mansion realm, and didn't pay much attention to it. There isn't much relationship. We just took a bath together and met each other once. Xiaoping said with a guilty conscience. What? Su Mei's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of cold light. Hee, you already have that kind of relationship with my sister, and you still want to marry me? From what you mean, you want to marry both sisters. Your ambition isn't small. To be honest, I do have this kind of dream, a harem of 3,000. Xiaoping revealed a little bit of his little ambition. As expected, it's better to cut off this kind of beast in human clothing. Su Mei's entire body was emitting a black aura, as though she was about to turn black. It was unknown when she held a treasured saber in her hand, which was brimming with killing intent. Swish! In an instant, she slashed her saber at Xiaoping with incomparably fast speed. The saber chi congealed into a pitch-black line, which seemed to split the space apart, and was extremely sharp. Even if the mica steel was to face this saber, it would be split into two. The power of this saber was extremely terrifying, and the saber chi's power had actually reached the initial stage of the treasure refinement realm. In fact, after a day and night of dual cultivation, Xiaoping instinctively used the supreme dual cultivation technique, the telepathic heart technique. Thus, Su Mei and Qiuxiu obtained enormous benefits. Yin and yang fused together. Heaven and man became one, and heaven and earth became mother and father. The two of them also broke through to the early stage of the treasure refinement realm. Because of the telepathic heart technique, they also obtained a lot of Xiaoping's martial arts experience, allowing their cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds. They even learned many of Xiaoping's martial arts abilities, such as the Lion Vajra print, the Seven Evil Dragon roar, the Azure Emperor longevity technique, the lightning fist, and so on. Of course, they did not learn the martial arts abilities instilled by the system. It seemed that in the depths of Xiaoping's soul, they could not be touched at all. But even so, these martial arts experience also raised the martial arts strength of the two to an incredible realm. Xiaoping patted lightly, and his palm bloomed with white light, like white jade, blocking in front of the saber. Dong! Immediately, the black saber chi was immediately shattered into powder and turned into heaven and earth yuan chi. Damn it! Su Mei was even angrier. She waved her long saber, and dozens of black saber chi appeared in the air. It fell down like a storm, extremely violent. Bang bang bang. Xiaoping stood in place and did not move. A layer of ancient turtle shell-like energy shield appeared around his body, like a crystal wall. The saber chi bombarded it, and did not move at all. It could not break through at all. In front of the North Dark Body Protection technique, such saber chi had no effect. And this time, he also obtained great benefits from the dual cultivation. He obtained the pure yin chi from the two of them, and merged it with the pure yang chi in his body. The fusion of yin and yang made his spiritual power increase greatly. In an instant, he was promoted to the middle stage of the true fire realm, and his strength increased greatly. Therefore, no matter how Su Mei attacked, she could not do anything to him. The difference in strength was too great. In this way, she was beaten by Su Mei for a full 10 minutes. She only stopped when her spiritual power was exhausted. Damn it, this turtle shell. Chapter 1465. A few days later, Qiuxiu and Su Mei had let go of their conflict with Xiaoping, because they knew it wasn't his fault. It was purely an accident, and no one could have avoided it. Most importantly, even if they were angry, they couldn't do anything to Xiaoping. So after thinking about it, they let it go and treated it as if they had been bitten by a puppy. But after this dual cultivation, they had benefited a lot. The large amount of life essence from Xiaoping had not only boosted their cultivation, but also improved the nature of their lives. Therefore, the two immediately went into seclusion to consolidate their cultivation. Otherwise, if they didn't tame the sudden increase in mana, their cultivation would regress, and they would be seriously injured. Xiaoping was the same. He was also in seclusion. He had just obtained the essence of two beautiful women, and broke through to the middle stage of the true fire realm. His mana had increased, and he needed to consolidate it. Because of the telepathy art, he had also obtained the two ultimate skills from Qiuxiu and Su Mei. They were the 6th Hell Demonic Book and the 9th Heaven Force. These were the famous ultimate skills of Mingyue court. Originally, even Su Mei and Qiushue would not be able to reveal such an ultimate technique. Mingyue Pavilion had set up a restrictive power in their minds. If anyone dared to covet or forcefully pry into it, the restrictive power would immediately explode, killing the two of them. Actually, this was a method unique to the Saint class sections. It was to prevent their sect's absolute arts from being obtained by others. After all, there were countless fugitives in the universe, and there might be people who wanted to target the disciples of the Saint class sections. Without this method, the ultimate skills of the sects would have been leaked long ago, and the streets would be full of them. But even though the restraining power in the mind was very strong, the telepathy art was too amazing. It could penetrate the soul and ignore the restraining power. Therefore, Xia Ping had easily obtained the two ultimate skills from Su Mei and Qiushue. Rumbled Xia Ping used the pure yang immortal technique to adapt to the sudden increase in mana. After advancing to the middle stage of the true fire realm, the strength of his divine consciousness was much stronger. The spiritual fire was burning fiercely, and in the purple mansion space, it was like a sea of fire with a radius of 1,000 miles. The mana in his body doubled, and the purple mansion continued to expand. At the same time, the Hell Golden Crow cells in his body were awakening at a crazy rate. 10,000 cells, 20,000 cells, 30,000 cells. In the end, he had awakened 100,000 Hell Golden Crow cells. So far, he had awakened 800,000 Golden Crow Hell cells. Dong! Xia Ping punched out lightly. He didn't use any magic power, just the strength of his body. The fist energy exploded, and a tremor could be heard from 100 miles away. The fist energy instantly pierced through the mountain. He could vaguely feel the power of the 800,000 hell cells in his body being mobilized. It was as if the power of 800,000 small suns was being activated. His power was boundlessly terrifying. He could probably kill a true fire realm cultivator with one punch with just his strength alone. 9 Heaven's Dark Force. Xia Ping circulated this newly learned absolute art. In fact, with Qiushue's martial arts experience, his mastery of this absolute art also progressed at lightning speed. He basically learned it in a single night. Whoosh! He stretched out a palm, and a snowstorm immediately appeared in his palm. It spun rapidly, and then quickly condensed into a white talisman. It was like an ice crystal, sparkling and translucent, and emitted a frightening chill. Dong! Xia Ping gently hit out with his palm, and a rock in the distance was instantly frozen into a block of ice. Even the ground was eroded by the chill, and was gradually frozen. In an instant, the cave turned into a cave of ice and snow. The temperature was at least minus 10 degrees Celsius. Ordinary people who entered would feel their blood freeze. Even peeing would cause their penis to freeze. It was so cold that even a drop of water would turn into ice. It's still a little lacking. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. Although the power of this absolute art was much stronger than Qiushue's, it was purely because his martial arts realm was too high. If they were in the same realm, the power of this palm would probably be much weaker than Qiushue's. The reason was that Qiushue had devoured the Xianming cold qi in order to cultivate this absolute art. This also increased the power of this absolute art by a level, and every move she made would cause the Xianming cold qi to explode. He felt that this absolute art was similar to the Yang God Fist. Although one was an ice attribute absolute art, and the other was a fire attribute absolute art, they both devoured and absorbed different kinds of energy between heaven and earth, which made the absolute art's power continuously increase. This was a martial art with extremely high growth potential. However, if he could find many different kinds of ice to devour and absorb in the future, he believed that he could improve the 9 Heaven's dark power to a power comparable to the Yang God Fist. 6 Hell Demonic Book. Xia Ping experimented with the sacred absolute art that he had obtained from Su Mei. Immediately, a mass of devil qi emerged from the depths of his body and quickly condensed into a black talisman. There seemed to be abyssal characters twisting in the depths of the talisman, wriggling like an abyssal demon worm, emitting a dark, deep, ancient, strange, hellish, and other auras. If ordinary warriors saw this black talisman, they would immediately feel dizzy. They would be affected by the fluctuations of devil qi and fall into the illusion of a boundless hell. People with weak psyche would not be able to extricate themselves, and even warriors with strong psyche would be greatly affected. Their bodies would become weak, and their minds would be injured. The Sixth Hell Demonic Book was an absolute art that was very beneficial to Xiaoping. Its foundation was to devour devil qi in the void, and to evolve the 6 paths of hell, which were the heavenly path, the Asura path, the animal path, the human path, the hungry ghost path, and the hell path. Once it was used, the enemy would fall into a boundless devil hell, unable to extricate themselves and suffer endless torture. Xiaoping's body had already devoured a large amount of abyss devil qi, so when he cultivated this absolute art, he progressed at lightning speed. It was as if it was created for him. In reality, this absolute art was created by a saint of Mingyue Pavilion in ancient times, in order to resist the erosion of the abyss devil qi, while fighting against the abyss devil qi. The power of this absolute art was endless. If one successfully cultivated it, he could be called a demon lord, and could come and go as he pleased in the abyss. However, there were too few people suitable for this absolute art. Even if one's talent was suitable, it would be extremely difficult to walk to the end. If one was unable to control the devil qi in their body, they would completely turn into a demon. But this was nothing to Xiaoping. The golden crow of hell bloodline in his body had finished suppressing the abyss devil qi. Even if the devil qi wanted to rebel, it would become food for the golden crow of hell, and be devoured cleanly. Qiushue and Sumei have also finished their closed-door cultivation, but it's time to leave. Xiaoping slightly consolidated his cultivation, and could be considered to have completely stabilized himself. He could control the explosive power in his body. At this time, he sensed Qiushue and Sumei's auras coming out from another cave. Chapter 1466. One day later, in a cave somewhere, Xiaoping, Qiushu, and Sumei sat together. "You're leaving?" Qiushu looked at Xiaoping with a complicated expression. She didn't know what kind of emotions she should face this guy. Was he her student or the man who took her first time? "Yes, I must get the 5 elements talisman. This planet is the territory of the Stars sect. No one can touch it." Xiaoping nodded. He had decided to start taking action against the Black Heaven sect. If it was before, he would be more or less worried about the Black Heaven sect. After all, the other party had 11 perfected golden cores and thousands of disciples. They were very powerful. If these people fought with their lives on the line, even he would be in danger. However, now that he had advanced to the middle stage of the true fire realm, and learned the 9 heavens mysterious dark force, and the 6 hell demonic book, his strength had greatly increased. He no longer cared about the people from the Black Heaven sect. At this moment, Qiushue and Sumei also knew why Xiaoping had appeared in this place. Xiaoping had also briefly explained his experiences over the past few years. They knew that this planet was the territory of the fallen sacred class sect, Myriad Star sect. It was impossible for Xiaoping to give up such a place. "I went back to the camp earlier and received some news. The elites of the mysterious heaven sect have already arrived at the Wood God Temple. Once they break the restrictions of the Wood God Temple, they will have 4 5 elements spirit talismans on them," Sumei said, providing the information she knew. In fact, when she and Qiushu came out of seclusion yesterday, they went back to the camp to report their whereabouts, so that the people of Mingyue Court would not think that they were dead. Then, they helped Xiaoping investigate various information about the Black Heaven sect. Then, they found an excuse to tell Xiaoping all kinds of news. "You're indeed my wife. You still care about me at the critical moment," Xiaoping said with a smile. With Sumei as a spy, he could control every move of the Black Heaven sect at any time. After all, the people of the Black Heaven sect could not possibly know that there was a spy for Xiaoping. "Who's your wife? Don't talk nonsense." Hearing this, Sumei's face turned red, and she fiercely glared at Xiaoping. "Also, if you return to the Heaven and Earth sect, don't tell my sister about this. Otherwise, you and I will be absolutely irreconcilable. I won't let you off for the rest of my life." She also learned about Su Ji's current situation from Xia Ping. She knew that Su Ji had left the Cloud Realm, joined the Heaven and Earth sect, and even became an elder's disciple. This made her feel much more at ease. The only thing he was worried about was that his sister might be eaten without bones if she stayed with this bastard Xia Ping. But now that she had been eaten by that bastard Xia Ping, she was no longer qualified to say such words. Of course, she also knew that her sister would find out about her relationship with Xia Ping sooner or later, but she still hoped that the time could be delayed a little, so that she could be fully prepared. Don't worry, I won't say anything if you don't want to. I'm a man who keeps his promises. However, will there be any major problems when you return to Mingyue Pavilion? After all, many disciples of Mingyue Pavilion died, and even a golden core perfected master was killed. How are you going to explain when you return? Xia Ping was a little worried about the safety of Qiuxiu and Su Mei in Mingyue Pavilion. After all, even a golden core perfected master was dead, but Su Mei and Qiuxiu were still alive. This was very difficult to explain. What else do I need to explain? I'll just say that when we were hunting the 5 elements savage beasts, we suddenly encountered a mysterious and powerful enemy. At that time, we used the minor transference talisman to escape. Su Mei said. As for Wu Caixia and the others, they were unlucky. They were taken care of, and had no way to escape at all. They were completely killed by the mysterious enemy. They didn't suspect anything? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. They were a little suspicious, but there was a group of people who had a guilty conscience. They were most worried that the crime of secretly killing their fellow sect members would be exposed. After all, if the truth was exposed, they would also be finished. Therefore, they were also people who liked things to calm down the most. They used all kinds of tricks to make the investigation unable to continue. They even personally went to the scene to destroy the evidence. Su Mei said. Right, that mysterious enemy seemed to be the same person who killed Xintian Sect's golden core perfected master Chu Hen. In other words, you were also framed by Mingyue Pavilion. She looked at Xia Ping with a hint of schadenfreude. So be it. It's not a burden to have too many debts. Xia Ping was very calm. However, you are not dead yet. That group of people who have their eyes on you will not let it go so easily. They won't continue to ambush you, right? Not for the time being. Qiuxiu said. Their plan failed. In fact, they also suspect that we have some mysterious trump card on us that can escape the pursuit of golden core perfected masters. Before they investigate clearly, they dare not act rashly. Furthermore, we have advanced to treasure refinement realm, and our strength has increased tremendously. This caused them to be suspicious and think that we have a golden core backing us. That's why their plan was ruined. Xia Ping nodded. After all, treasure refinement realm was completely different from divine power realm. Their strength was many times stronger, and the sect valued them greatly. Furthermore, treasure refinement realm's survival capabilities were much stronger. Most importantly, among the many golden core perfected ones in Mingyue Pavilion, not all of them wanted to kill Qiuxiu and Su Mei. There were also some who liked them. With that incident, the other golden cores did not dare to act rashly. Right. Why don't we dual cultivate a few more times? I feel that dual cultivation would benefit both of us greatly. With yin and yang as one, I'm afraid you guys can improve even faster. Xia Ping suggested, wanting to dual cultivate again. Get lost. Who would want to dual cultivate with you? Qiuxiu and Su Mei blushed and shouted in unison, wishing they could bite that hooligan to death. What happened a few days ago was an accident, but that bastard wanted to do it a few more times. He was shameless to the extreme. However, they had to admit that the dual cultivation this time round was extremely helpful to them. Obtaining Xia Ping's martial experience was akin to being enlightened by a martial Dao grandmaster, allowing them to avoid many detours. In fact, they even obtained the pure yang essence from Xia Ping's body. The energy was immense, and they were constantly tempering their bodies, improving their endowments and raising their soul energy. It was as though they had obtained a supreme-grade elixir that emitted endless medicinal power within their bodies at all times. If they were to dual cultivate a few more times, They might be able to advance to true fire realm before long. The problem was that it was way too embarrassing, and they could not accept it for a moment. Forget it then. I'll make a move first to find trouble with those people from Black Heaven sect. You guys head back to the camp first. Also, leave 5 Elements planet as soon as possible. Once I obtain the 5 Elements Spirit Talisman, I'll take action and eliminate the enemy. Xia Ping stood up and left, leaving those words behind. Be careful, see you later. Xiuxiu and Su Mei reminded Xia Ping as they watched him leave. However, they were not worried about not being able to contact Xia Ping later on, because they had obtained Xia Ping's universe communicator number. Once they returned to Mingyue Pavilion, they could contact him through the universe virtual network. Chapter 1467. Wood God Temple. At that moment, a large number of Black Heaven sect disciples had arrived. 10 golden cores joined forces and used their divine abilities. Immediately, a heaven and earth formation rose up and condensed into a cloud and mist. Rays of energy light descended from the cloud and mist one after another, like lightning and thunder. These rays of light covered the sky and the earth, easily piercing through the bodies of the wild beasts. Large batches of wood-type wild beasts died. All of them were killed. Huge holes appeared on the ground with loud rumbles. Dong! A restriction-breaking talisman shot in, and the restriction formation around the wood god temple collapsed. Immediately, a green wood element talisman appeared in front of everyone, emitting a faint green light. Pa! Black Heaven sect's golden core disciple, Rong Hang, grabbed the wood element talisman in his hand. He was the leader of the Black Heaven sect disciples, and had the other 3 talismans in his hand. We finally got the wood element talisman. A golden core dressed in red said excitedly. Up till now, we've obtained a total of 4 spirit talismans. If we can obtain a metal elemental spirit talisman as well, we'll be able to fuse the 5 spirit talismans together and refine them completely. Then, we'll be able to gain complete control of this planet's 5-element sky dragon fiend sealing formation and take this planet for ourselves. He felt that the sect mission was about to be completed. Once it was completed, he would receive a huge reward from the sect. However, that gold element talisman has already been obtained by the person who killed junior brother Chu Hen. How detestable. We clearly sent a large number of people to search everywhere, but we can't find any traces of the murderer. He probably knows that we're after him and has already hidden. Also, this planet is huge and comparable to an ordinary star. If he wants to hide, it'll be difficult for us to find him. Many Black Heaven sect disciples gritted their teeth. Recently, they had been searching everywhere for Xia Ping, and even carried out a carpet search. However, they could not find any traces of him. It was as though he had disappeared from the planet. They were very worried that if he just left planet 5 Elements and hit on another planet in the fog star zone, they might never be able to find him again. As for revenge, that was even more distant. He's not hiding. Instead, he's extremely arrogant. Recently, he's also committed crimes. A golden core perfected master from Mingyue Court, Wu Caixia, and junior brother Fang Jingjiao were also killed by this bastard. Another 2 golden core perfected masters died. Ong Hang sneered. He had obtained this news from the golden cores of Mingyue Pavilion. What? Another 2 golden cores had died. Even Fang Jing's junior brother is dead? He's too arrogant and killed yet another golden core of Xintian sect. That bastard is courting death. Fellow brothers, we can't let this go on. Otherwise, who knows how many more people will be killed. The problem is that the guy is proficient in concealment techniques. We can't find any trace of him at all. Damn it, this is too hateful. Could it be that we can only watch as that madman does whatever he wants on planet 5 Elements? Don't worry, fellow brothers. That scoundrel won't be rampant for long. I've already reported this matter to the sect elders. Once the eternal space-time gate is completed to a certain extent, the elders can immediately teleport over. At that time, no matter where that scoundrel hides, he will die without a burial ground. That's great. The elders are powerful, and their divine senses are powerful. They can instantly cover the entire planet. Under the elders' divine senses, That scoundrel has nowhere to hide. Many Xintian sect disciples were extremely excited. They believed that as long as the Xintian sect elders made a move, the murderer would have no way to live. After all, the elders were too powerful and could shake the entire planet. Their divine senses were boundless. I heard that you're looking for me? There's no need to wait for your elders. I'll appear in front of you now. Suddenly a voice rang out nearby. It came from afar and quickly spread to the ears of every Xintian sect disciple. With a swoosh, a figure appeared in front of everyone. This person was obviously Xiaoping. However, at this time, he had changed his appearance and aura. After all, he was here to kill people. This would definitely offend the Xintian sect, so he could not reveal his true identity. Who is it? Rong Heng and the others were shocked. They did not sense that there was an enemy hiding nearby. But now that the enemy had appeared without a sound, they became extremely vigilant. They all looked into the distance and immediately saw Xiaoping's figure appear in front of them. Who is it? Haven't you been looking for me for a long time? Now that I've appeared in front of you, you don't recognize me. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back and looked indifferently at the group of Xintian sect disciples. You're the murderer who killed junior brother Chu Hen and junior brother Fang Zheng. How dare you appear in front of us? Ong Heng stared at Xiaoping. He did not expect this murderer to be so arrogant. He actually dared to appear in front of so many Xintian sect disciples. His arrogance was boundless. There's nothing to be afraid of. I only came here for one purpose, and that is to snatch the 5 elemental spirit talisman. Xiaoping stated his purpose. If you hand over the 5 elemental spirit talisman now, you can live. Otherwise you will die. Choose. He gave the group of people 2 choices. Bullshit. You want us to hand over the 5 elemental spirit talisman that we worked so hard to obtain? Who do you think you are? You're just an ant. You dare to say you'll give us 2 choices? Do you think you're a saint who can kill us? This kid has lost his mind. He can't even tell who's the boss. We have 10 golden core masters and thousands of elites. We can turn you into dust in an instant. You dare to challenge us with just this bit of strength. Have you measured your own strength? The group of Xintian sect disciples exploded with anger. Their faces were flushed red. They wanted nothing more than to slap this arrogant Xiaoping to death. He was clearly alone and weak. Not only did he hide like a stray dog, but he actually dared to jump out and snatch the 5 elemental spirit talisman. He even jumped out and shouted that he wanted to give them 2 choices. He was too arrogant and domineering. Did he really think that the Xintian sect was a soft persimmon that he could pinch as he pleased? Native. Rong Heng sneered. We're not Fang Jingjiao. You think that trash like Chu Hen can easily deal with the 10 golden core masters of the Xintian sect? You're dreaming. His body emitted a violent aura that shrouded heaven and earth. The tyrannical magic power distorted the air. He had reached the middle stage of the golden core realm and had a trace of infinite magic power. I think you're mistaken. Fang Jingjiao and Chu Hen are trash, but aren't you? Xiaoping said indifferently. Native, if you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Chapter 1468. Martial Divine Ability, Storm Dragon Spear. In an instant, the perfected golden core of the Black Heaven sect charged over with the spear in his hand. The spear stabbed out, causing the heavens and earth to tremble, stirring up a storm within a radius of 1,000 miles. Endless gales gathered on the long spear. Runes flickered, and magic power rapidly condensed, turning into one storm after another, like a flood dragon traversing the heaven and earth. The storms turned into flood dragons. When the spear struck out, it was as if thousands of dragons had appeared at the same time. They covered the sky and earth, forming a formation that crushed down with destructive power. The surrounding Black Heaven sect disciples could not help but retreat several miles, because such a spear technique was simply too violent. Even ordinary perfected golden cores would not dare to take it head-on. Once hit, one would definitely die and cease to exist. Die, native. Repent in hell. The perfected golden core holding the spear roared with a murderous aura. He wanted to stab this native to death with one strike, and end this ridiculous operation. He wanted this native to know the terror of the Black Heaven sect and the power of perfected golden cores. Go to hell? What a joke. Even if I go to hell, I'm still the ruler. You have no idea who you're fighting against. Ignorant and fearless. This will be the reason for your death today. Xiaoping's gaze was calm, and a pair of dark golden wings appeared on his back. Those were the wings of the golden crow of hell. They were engraved with dense ancient inscriptions, revealing the aura of space, flames, and antiquity. Swoosh! Immediately, the wings of the golden crow of hell flapped, and he instantly left the spot, as if he had entered the void. His speed was so fast that even divine senses could not detect him. It was like a space divine ability that allowed one to be so close, yet so far away. In the next second, Xiaoping dodged the spear and appeared behind the perfected golden core of the Black Heaven sect. That strike blasted into the distance, instantly raising hundreds of mountains to the ground. The area within a radius of hundreds of miles trembled, as if there was a magnitude 7 or 8 earthquake. The air exploded inch by inch. Even a nuclear bomb would not be able to withstand such power. So fast. What kind of speed divine ability is that? Oh no, junior brother Liang is in danger. Junior brother Liang dodge quickly. Many Mystic Heaven sect disciples were shocked, including the perfected golden cores present. That was because even they could not detect Xiaoping's flight trajectory when he flapped his wings. All they knew was that Xiaoping had suddenly appeared behind that golden core. As for how he arrived, they had no idea at all. Even their spirit consciousnesses could not detect any traces of him flying. However, they immediately knew that junior brother Liang had revealed such a big flaw, and they were afraid that he was in danger. Someone was burning with anxiety and immediately issued a warning. What happened? The spear-wielding Jindan perfected master's hair stood on end, and his body trembled. His move had been dodged by the enemy, and the enemy had even come to his back. It was too unbelievable. He was completely defenseless now. Lightning fist. Thunder runes seemed to revolve in the depths of Xiaoping's pupils, and every single cell in his body was trembling. A terrifying power of thunder rapidly surged out from the depths of his body, gathering in his fist. Countless lightning runes condensed on his right fist, forming a heaven and earth formation. It was as if it contained a sea of lightning, with endless lightning energy brewing within. Dong! Without any hesitation, the punch landed solidly on the spear-wielding golden core Taoist master. His chest was penetrated by the fist on the spot, and the armor on his body was torn apart easily. Ah! The golden core of Mystic Heaven sect shrieked tragically as the terrifying lightning energy exploded. Unable to withstand it, his body exploded into a blood mist just like that. The spear in his hand fell to the ground as well, creating a deep pit. A golden core was killed with a single punch just like that. Junior brother Liang. When they saw the golden core being killed with a single punch, Rong Hang and the others shrieked with widened eyes. They were so furious that they wanted nothing more than to tear Xiaoping into pieces. Even if they were beaten to death, they would not have expected that a golden core with strong dermic powers would be killed by a true fire realm cultivator with a single punch. That was because everything happened too quickly in the blink of an eye. Even if they wanted to call for help, it was too late. Previously, they were still doubting if Xiaoping truly had the strength to kill a golden core. Perhaps he might have launched a sneak attack, poisoned or used all sorts of despicable methods. If it was a head-on fight, it would have been over. But now, Xiaoping had given them a tight slap. In an instant, he killed one of their golden cores, causing them to suffer heavy losses. Even if they wanted to regret it now, it was too late. Bastard, how dare you kill junior brother Liang? Ong Heng grit his teeth and glared at Xiaoping. Do you know that this is a grave sin? You're offending Mystic Heaven sect, and no one can save you. He could not wait to kill Xiaoping immediately, and his heart was bleeding. That was because 3 golden cores had died in Xiaoping's hands. Chu Hen, Fang Jingjiao and now junior brother Liang. These golden cores were elite disciples of Mystic Heaven sect, and the death of any one of them was unbearable. But now, 3 of them had died in the hands of the same person. One could imagine how furious he was right now. You don't dare to kill me? Xiaoping laughed. Even if your Mystic Heaven Sect's patriarch came here, I would still dare to kill him. Don't you think that Mystic Heaven Sect's name can scare me? Isn't that a joke? This is the Fog Star Zone. No matter how capable your patriarch is, can he reach here? If you have the guts, let your patriarch enter the Fog Star Zone to kill me. I'm just afraid that your Mystic Heaven Sect's patriarch doesn't have the guts. He looked at Rong Hang and the others with a faint smile. Arrogant. How dare you insult a saint? You should be killed. Rong Hang was furious. This native was so arrogant that he even dared to insult and criticize a saint. Even if he had 9 lives, it would not be enough. Capture this native. A hot-tempered golden core roared. How dare he kill a disciple of Mystic Heaven Sect and insult our patriarch? He's courting death. He won't be able to escape death, no matter where he goes. Capture him alive. Cripple his cultivation and torture him day and night. Make him wish he was dead. That's the only way to comfort the souls of junior brother Liang and the others and take revenge. He's just a native. How dare he clamor in front of our Mystic Heaven Sect? Tear him into pieces immediately. Set up the Mystic Heaven Lifeless Kill formation immediately and suppress this beast native. Go attack together. Many Mystic Heaven Sect disciples roared angrily. All of them were furious. Their eyes were bloodshot, and their killing intent surged. The remaining 9 golden cores and thousands of Mystic Heaven Sect disciples attacked together and set up the formation together. Immediately, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Mountains collapsed and tsunamis surged. The sun and moon lost their light. The chi of heaven and earth, within a radius of 500 kilometers, was completely devoured. Magic power surged and brewed continuously, immediately forming a terrifying heaven and earth formation that covered 500 kilometers. Chapter 1469. Black Sky Lifeless Kill Formation. A cold glint appeared in Xiaoping's eyes. He could feel how terrifying the heaven and earth formation, set up by the Black Sky Sect disciples, was. Once the formation was formed, it sealed the sky and locked the earth, turning everything within a radius of 500 kilometers into a forbidden land. A formation rose up and transparent energy descended from all directions like an eggshell, completely enveloping everything. Even if one wanted to use a minor transference talisman, they wouldn't be able to escape from this space. Within the range of the formation, wisps of ancient killing intent were released. The earth was ferocious for 10,000 years, and the killing intent was revealed. Dragons rose from the land, and the earth was turned upside down. There was no chance of survival. This was the famous killing formation of the Black Sky Sect, the Black Sky Lifeless Kill Formation. Legend had it that once this formation was activated, even sages would be severely injured. Of course, the person who set up this formation was only a golden core cultivator, so the formation couldn't be used to its highest level. Even so, the might of the heavenly mystic lifeless killing formation was so domineering that it could truly kill golden cores with ease. Kill! Rong Hang and the others shouted angrily. Killing intent surged, and the formation was activated like a millstone. As the formation was activated, wisps of killing intent condensed and turned into blood-colored blades. They revealed a sharp light that could pierce through the sky. They were indestructible and extremely terrifying. It was as if the formation could send people into a bottomless abyss the moment it appeared. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In an instant, the blood-colored blades gathered and turned into clouds. Hundreds of thousands or even millions of blood-colored blades trembled like bees gathering. They covered a radius of 500 kilometers and seemed like they would fall at any time. Just a single blood-colored sword blade could pierce through the body of a golden core. If millions of blood-colored sword blades were to descend, let alone hundreds of thousands of them, they would most likely be able to turn this arrogant indigenous being into dregs in an instant. Xiaoping also knew that once the formation was formed, it wouldn't be easy for him to block the terrifying attack of the Black Sky Sect disciples. He might even be severely injured and die. However, he wouldn't let these people form the formation so easily. 6 Hells Demon Book, Hungry Ghost Dao. Xiaoping circulated the 6 Hells Devil Book. Immediately, Strands of abyssal devil energy came out of his 108,000 pores. This abyssal devil energy contained demonic characters that seemed to be formed from the characters of hell. It also looked like ancient demonic insects wriggling, as if they contained a supreme demonic nature. In an instant, the devilish energy turned into a devilish cloud that covered the sky. It silently spread out for hundreds of kilometers and covered the group of mysterious heaven sect disciples. What is this? Rong Hang and the other golden cores were still channeling the black heavenly lifeless killing formation. When the killing intent reached its peak, they would suppress it suddenly. That way, they would definitely be able to kill that indigenous being instantly. But before they could do anything, the aboriginal actually used this strange technique. Demonic chi rampaged about, and before they knew what was happening, the demonic chi had already invaded their bodies and seeped into the depths of their brains. The reason why the demonic chi spread so quickly was because it was not magic power, but spiritual energy condensed from divine sense. The Six Hells demonic book itself was an illusion demonic book, a supreme demonic art that used spiritual energy. All of a sudden, these Black Heaven sect disciples underwent a huge change. Hungry, I'm so hungry. Why am I so hungry all of a sudden? One of the Black Heaven sect disciples suddenly shouted. He felt as if his body had not eaten for months. Every single cell in his body was sending out a signal to eat, or he would starve to death. He immediately took out a large amount of food from his spatial ring and started eating. But no matter how much he ate or how much food he stuffed into his stomach, he could not satiate his hunger. It was as if his stomach was a bottomless pit, and no matter how much food he ate, it would be devoured cleanly. Why? Why am I still so hungry after eating so much? Give me something to eat. Hurry up and give me something to eat. Otherwise I'll starve to death. I'm going to starve to death. It's gone, it's all gone. All the food in the spatial ring has been eaten. Even the pills are gone. There's still treasures and ores. I've eaten them all. There's rocks and soil on the ground. I've eaten them all. One by one, the Black Heaven sect disciples went crazy from hunger. They ate all the food, pills, and spiritual medicine they had on them. Since they could not find any food, they began to eat treasures, flying swords, ores, and so on. Some even lay down on the ground and ate the soil, rocks, weeds, and trees as if they were the most delicious food in the world. Only by doing this could they slightly reduce their hunger. This hunger was enough to drive them crazy, to make them collapse, to make them feel despair. If anyone had experienced the feeling of not eating for several days, or even drinking a drop of water, they would know that it was hell, a true hell. During the Great Famine, people would go crazy from hunger, and even eat humans. Stop. Stop right now. You've fallen into an illusion. This is an illusion. Don't eat it. This is the poop left behind by a wild beast. Don't eat this damn thing. Damn it. This is Mingyua Court 6 Hell's demonic tome. We've fallen into the hungry ghost realm's illusion. It's like we've fallen into hell, and our bodies are in a state of endless hunger. If this continues, we'll be stuffed to death. What's going on? Why does this native know the 6 Hell's demonic tome? Is he a disciple of Mingyua Court? No, he's a man. Mingyua Court only accepts female disciples. Rong Hang and the others shouted angrily, hoping to wake up the Black Heaven sect disciples, who had fallen into the illusion of the hungry ghost realm. They were golden core perfected masters, and their divine senses were strong enough to resist the 6 Hell's demonic tome's illusion. But even so, they still felt incomparably hungry, and they wanted nothing more than to eat people. In fact, many Black Heaven sect disciples had gone crazy from hunger. Their eyes were bloodshot like evil spirits. When they saw their fellow disciples, it was as if they were not humans, but human-shaped hamburgers and bread. Bang! Bang! They killed each other like evil spirits, killing each other, and then eating each other's corpses. In an instant, this place turned into hell on earth. Large numbers of Black Heaven sect disciples died. The black sky lifeless killing formation collapsed and disappeared without anyone controlling it. The power of the 6 Hell's demonic tome is really terrifying. Xiaoping was also shocked. He had only been testing the waters, but he did not expect the effects to be so terrifying. The hungry ghost realm's illusion alone was enough to make countless cultivators fall into the state of evil spirits. They were so hungry that they would kill each other, even those of the same sect. Moreover, this was only the elementary malevolent spirit state. The true malevolent spirit state did not only have hunger for food, but also endless hunger for killing, greed, possessiveness, and other emotions. No matter how many people they killed, how many treasures they obtained, and how many women they had, they could not satisfy the hunger in their hearts. They could not fill the emptiness in their hearts. Chapter 1470. Of course, apart from the hungry ghost Tao, the other 5 Tao, Heaven Tao, Asura Tao, Animal Tao, Human Tao, and Hell Tao all had different illusions. For example, the Animal Tao could turn the enemy into a beast and change their perception, making them think of themselves as dogs, cats, cows, pigs, chickens, and so on. If the Asura Tao was used, the enemy would fall into the Asura Hell. Their minds would be filled with the desire to kill, and they would turn into a man-killer ghost. No matter how many people they killed, they would not stop until they died. Just as Xia Ping was feeling emotional about the power of the 6 Hell Demon Tome, the golden cores of Xiantian sect were panicking. No, we can't continue like this. We have to break this illusion immediately, or all our Xiantian sect disciples will die. One of the golden cores shouted anxiously. How do we break it? This illusion is extremely exquisite, and the consciousness is strong. There's no way to break it. The other golden core shrugged, indicating that there was nothing he could do. Earlier on, he had given it his all in an attempt to dispel the illusion. However, the power of the illusion was too terrifying, and he could not dispel it with his mental strength. Break my ass. As long as we kill that native, the illusion will naturally be broken. That's right. The only thing we can do now is to kill this native or we'll all die. Set up the Great Yin rotation formation and kill this native. Don't capture him alive in case something happens. Go turn him into dust in an instant. This is a disaster, a devil. We can't let him live. Rong Hang and the other golden cores were filled with killing intent. They were no longer as relaxed as before because Xia Ping had already posed a huge threat to them. If they dared to be careless, they would definitely die in the hands of this native. Boom. When the 9 golden cores attacked, the world collapsed instantly. Dermic powers trembled and runes circulated, forming a gigantic wheel, with a radius of 50 kilometers in midair. This giant wheel had 9 corners, and every corner was engraved with many ancient scriptures. They emitted a tyrannical and ancient aura, displaying history, epics, and civilizations. They represented the true essence of the universe, and were suffused with extreme Yin energy. It rotated slowly, twisting the world like chaos. It contained a suppressive, mighty, and majestic power. It was as if the gigantic wheel possessed the power to suppress the ages, suppress the heavens, and destroy the earth and the earth. Dong! As soon as the lunar revolution formation was formed, the 9-horned wheel pressed down on Xia Ping like a falling star, as if doomsday had arrived. There was nowhere for him to hide. You want to turn me into dust in an instant? You're overestimating yourselves. You have no idea who you're facing. Today, I'll let you know that the so-called Black Heaven Gate is nothing but a pile of shit. I'll kill you like pigs and dogs. Xia Ping took a step forward and pulled out the pearl of mountain and river. He circulated his magic power and sent it flying. Rumble! In the blink of an eye, the bead of mountains and rivers shone brightly, and a map of mountains and rivers immediately appeared. It traversed the void and covered a radius of 1,000 miles, as if the world was turning upside down. This landscape diagram condensed into material form, and it transformed into numerous lofty mountains, numerous vast rivers, mountains, rivers, valleys, deserts, and so on and so forth. There were even many figures around the plains, as if countless ancient ancestors were praying. In the depths of the mountains, there seemed to be birds and beasts living. They were densely packed and very lively. This mysterious scroll was filled with dense world energy. World runes scattered about, turning into clusters of stars. It was as if a great 1,000 worlds had descended into this region. Dong! This boundless force crushed down, shattering the universe, toppling the mountains and overturning the seas, and stirring up the universe. The giant wheel was instantly shattered into pieces by this scroll. Immediately, the giant wheel was shaken into a ball of dense chi of heaven and earth, turning into runes that filled the sky. Rongheng and the other perfected golden cores could not withstand the backlash. All of them vomited blood on the spot and retreated repeatedly. Their internal organs were severely injured. That's impossible. The Tai-Yin rotation grand array is broken. This is a supreme killing array that can kill a perfected golden core. The Tai-Yin Chi rotates and destroys everything. How can a mere true fire realm cultivator withstand it? A perfected golden core was completely deranged. He could not believe what he had just seen. That was clearly the killing move of the 9 perfected golden cores. But Xiaoping had dispelled it with ease. On the other hand, a single move had shattered the Lunar Revolution formation, and the 9 perfected golden cores were severely injured on the spot. Even though he was from a sacred sect and was knowledgeable, he had never seen something as such. Even the Lunar Revolution formation can't do anything to this indigenous being. There's no way we can fight him. Let's retreat. Some perfected golden cores were extremely terrified and felt that they would only die if they continued fighting. Everyone, don't be afraid. It's definitely a Dharma treasure. It's definitely the work of a Dharma treasure. He's definitely not that strong. A perfected golden core hollered in an attempt to reduce everyone's fear towards Xiaoping and stabilize their morale. That's right, it was indeed that bead that dispelled our Lunar Revolution formation. That bead is no ordinary Dharma treasure. It's even more terrifying than a supreme-grade spirit weapon. Even more terrifying than a supreme-grade spirit weapon? Doesn't that mean that it's a sacred weapon? That can't be. If it's a sacred weapon, the other party would be able to turn us into dust in an instant, as long as he uses the might of the sacred weapon. Why would he need to fight so intensely? I reckon that it's not a complete sacred weapon, but a damaged one. That's why this happened. Damaged sacred weapon? That indigenous being obtained by that indigenous being? Just how lucky is he that his ancestral grave is smoking? The 9 perfected golden cores discussed fervently and analyzed the various reasons immediately. They knew that the bead was definitely a damaged sacred weapon, which was the reason why it was so powerful and could shatter the Lunar Revolution formation with a single strike. It was extremely terrifying. Good, very good. The eyes of a gray-robed perfected golden core lit up. That damaged sacred weapon must definitely belong to our Mystic Heaven sect. As long as we kill that lad and obtain that damaged sacred weapon, we'll definitely be rewarded greatly when we return to the sect. All of our previous losses can be recouped, and we might even become rich overnight. That's an endless benefit. He looked at Xiaoping, as though he was looking at a fat sheep, and could not wait to snatch the mountain river bead. The other perfected golden core's eyes were filled with greed as well. You want to snatch the mountain river bead? You guys must be dreaming. All of you shall die here today. Xiaoping charged forward and punched through the void, causing an explosion. Dong! The fist force pierced through the sky and landed on the gray-robed perfected golden core's body, piercing his chest and causing blood to spurt out. Chapter 1471. That damned beast has killed yet another golden core. Rongheng was so angry that he was about to go berserk. His eyes were bloodshot, and he wanted nothing more than to kill Xiaoping immediately. When he saw the Black Heaven sect disciples dying in Xiaoping's hands one after another, he was filled with endless sorrow. Even though Xiaoping had displayed domineering strength, they still had 8 golden cores on their side. With their numbers advantage, they still had a chance to get rid of that damned indigenous being. Little bastard, I'll take your life. Supreme Void Sword. Rongheng roared in anger. He pulled out a treasure sword and executed a sword Dao divine art. The sword chi was invisible and entered the void, producing a terrifying power of the void. The power of that sword was extremely terrifying. Even a middle-grade defensive spirit weapon would not be able to withstand that shocking sword, and would be sliced into 2 instantly. The moment he attacked, he displayed the terrifying strength of a mid-stage golden core that far surpassed the other golden cores. Don't be afraid of that indigenous being. 2 fists can't fight against 4 hands. Everyone, let's attack together and kill that lad. Tyrant Dragon Heaven Saber. Seeing Rong Heng attack, a golden core of the Black Heaven sect did not want to be outdone. He wielded a golden saber and slashed toward Xiaoping violently, as though a tyrant dragon was born. That slash gathered a terrifying saber chi. In the depths of the saber chi, golden runes trembled and formed a sawtooth shape, as though they could split the sky into two and contained extreme destructive power. Heaven-devouring Cloud Tiger Force. A golden core released a supreme ultimate skill. Clouds shrouded his body, transforming into a divine tiger that devoured the heavens and earth. It was as though the clouds within a radius of 1,000 miles were devoured completely. With his body as the center, a terrifying devouring power was produced, forming a black vortex that seemed as though it was going to devour Xiaoping's entire body. The air was constantly distorted. Golden Spear Cavalry. A golden core charged over from the other side with a long spear in his hand. His body was filled with an iron-blooded aura, as though a huge army was charging over. It was as though he was a peerless general that was taking the head of the enemy general from the army. His spear stabbed over like a black bolt of lightning, locking onto Xiaoping's aura. Go to hell, native. Mortal Myriad Rod. Another golden core hollered angrily. He held a long black rod in his hand and swung it over, causing the world to shake. A gigantic painting shrouded over like the descent of the mortal world. The world crushed and was boundlessly terrifying. The remaining 8 golden cores went berserk and unleashed their strongest divine powers, crushing down from all directions. One after another, divine powers of the martial path appeared, breaking through the ages and shattering the stars. Every single martial path divine ability possessed an unfathomable aura. Their auras terrifying. Planets trembled, endless magical power streams converged together, condensing into a long river that traversed through time and space, causing the heavens to collapse and the earth to crack, the land to sink, and the sky to shatter. In order to kill Xiaoping, they had gone all out, and almost burned every trace of magical power in the depths of their gold cores. Rumble. In the blink of an eye, Xiaoping pulled out the Hell's Spear, which caused everything to shake violently. The aura of Hell spread out, and the Hell portal appeared behind him. One after another, Hell Spirit formations appeared beneath his feet. It was as though the power of countless ghosts and gods from the depths of Hell was supporting it, channeling it over from the distant space. Hell's Demon Suppression Spear's second stance massacre. Without hesitation, Xiaoping used the second stance of the Hell's Demon Suppression Spear that he had just comprehended. The moment the spear stabbed out, the heavens and earth split apart, as though it had pierced through space and formed a black hole. In midair, the spear stabbed over, leaving a mark in the void, creating a series of black trails. It was like a chasm that tore the void apart, producing a terrifying might. Right now, in the depths of the void, a series of hellish auras spread out. Hell's runes appeared one after another, condensing into black trails one after another. Densely packed, they formed a web of death, as though the king of Hades had appeared and was harvesting souls. Bang! 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 All the attacks of the 8 golden cores entered the black trails, disappearing into nothingness instantly, as though they were wiped out with ease and turned into dust. That was right. This was the terror of the second stance of the Hell's Demon Suppression Spear. It wasn't about cutting, but about wiping. Once it struck, the enemy would be reduced to an atomic state and turned into dust. Even their souls would vanish and cease to exist. This was a true massacre, where not a single trace would be left behind in this world. Damn it, what kind of mystic power is that? Rong Heng's expression froze as he glared at Xiaoping. Darkness, ancient, terrifying, deep and murderous. This is a mystic power of the Fiend Tao, but I've never heard of it before. Another golden core shuddered, and his hair stood on end. He could feel the power of death contained in the spear that was chilling. Just what is the background of this lad? Why would he appear in this place? This is the Fog Galaxy, a strange place that even sages wouldn't dare to enter. There might be an ancient faction in this galaxy. We can't continue fighting or we'll all die here. Return immediately, and get the elders of the sect to squash this indigenous being to death. Rong Hang and the others felt their hairs stand on end. They finally felt that they had offended a powerful enemy that they could not afford to offend. Even the combined forces of 8 golden cores were not a match for this young man. If they were to continue fighting, they would definitely die. The golden cores of the Mystic Heaven sect began to think about escaping. There was no need for them to stay here and wait for death. Once the elders of the sect arrived, it would be a piece of cake for them to squash this true fire indigenous being to death. What mystic power is that? Why don't you guys go to hell and ask? In the blink of an eye, Xiaoping struck once again with his spear. Countless black hell runes swam like dragons, dancing wildly in midair, twisting and twisting. Beams of black light shot out one after another, as though they were going to slice the world into countless pieces. Bang! 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 Immediately, the 5 golden cores in front could not dodge in time, and were struck by the black light. Just like that, their bodies were easily sliced into 2. The terrifying power of hell exploded from within their bodies, exploding inch by inch. Before they could even scream, their bodies exploded and turned into a mist of blood. They were left with 5 golden cores floating in midair, emitting a faint golden glow. Bastard! Run, we can't stay here. When the elders arrive, we'll kill this indigenous being and take our revenge. The pupils of Rong Hang and the other 2 golden cores constricted. They were scared out of their wits. 5 golden cores were killed just like that, and they could not even self-destruct their golden cores. It was simply too terrifying. Although they could kill this indigenous being by self-destructing their golden cores, the problem was that they were golden cores of the Mystic Heaven sect, and had a bright future ahead of them. Who would be willing to commit suicide unless they were in a desperate situation? Swoosh! Swoosh! Chapter 1472. Rong Hang and the other 2 used all their strength, and even tore the minor transference talisman. In the blink of an eye, they entered the void and fled thousands of miles away. Even a golden core perfected being wouldn't be able to catch up to them at that speed. Escaped? Xiaoping scoffed coldly. But do you really think that you can escape? If it was a normal cultivator, he might not be able to catch up to them if they fled thousands of miles away. He could only watch helplessly as the other party escaped. However, he had the means to kill the 3 golden cores. Immediately, Xiaoping took out a treasured bow, the buried heaven bow. This was a treasure that he obtained from Heaven and Earth sect previously. It was a replica of the buried heaven bow. However, even if it was a replica, it contained terrifying power, and was a superior grade spirit weapon. Boom! Xiaoping closed his eyes and sent out his powerful divine sense. Soundlessly, it spread out for a radius of 10,000 li. It was like a ripple, one circle after another, causing ripples to appear in the void. Immediately, he sensed the aura of Rong Hang and the other 2, as well as the mental imprint that he left behind. With the existence of the mental imprint, the 3 of them were like light bulbs. I sensed it. This is the place. Xiaoping opened his eyes, and there seemed to be a mysterious formation spinning in the depths of his pupils. His body gave off an unknown aura, as he held the buried heaven bow in his hand, and knocked an arrow. Supreme mystic skill, head-piercing 7 arrows technique. A heaven and earth formation was spinning in his body. It was deep and dark, and resonated with the buried heaven bow. It trembled continuously, and threads of curse aura spread out, seeping into the void and capturing Rong Hang and the other 2. Xiaoping used the head-piercing 7 arrows technique, and strong power seeped out from his body. One after another, gray runes appeared, containing the aura of decay, ancientness, darkness, curse, etc. These gray runes hovered in the air before quickly condensing into 3 gray arrows. The moment the gray arrows were formed, they exploded with a terrifying sharpness. Like arrows that could kill gods, they had terrifying penetrative power, killing power, and curse power. It was as if once one was targeted, no matter which corner of the world they fled to, they wouldn't be able to escape. Shisho. In the blink of an eye, Xiaoping struck out as 3 arrows shot out. Burying the heavens skill vibrated out as an unparalleled amount of power was imbued onto the surface of the arrows. A terrifying amount of power coiled around the arrows. Instantly, The 3 arrows disappeared into the void and silently shot toward Rong Hang and the other 2. At this moment, Rong Hang and the other 2 had already escaped 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers away and were hiding beside a huge mountain. They were panting heavily, their faces were pale, and they were drenched in sweat. They had used up quite a bit of their magic power. In order to escape from Xiaoping's hands, not only did they use the minor transference talisman, but they also used all their strength to display their speed. They fled non-stop, hoping to return to the camp of the 3 great sects as soon as possible. We've already fled for thousands of kilometers. That aborigine shouldn't be able to catch up to us. Shut up. Don't be careless. It's not safe before we return to the camp. That's right. If that native catches up to us, we'll definitely die. Now isn't the time to talk about safety. Cultivate for a few minutes. Let's wait for our magic power to recover a bit before continuing our journey. We must not give that aboriginal the chance to catch up to us. We cannot give him any chance at all. Rong Hang and the other 2 were discussing as they fled like stray dogs. Never in their wildest dreams would they have thought that they would have to flee like this one day. A golden core was being chased like a dog by a true Fire Realm cultivator. This was a great humiliation. Their hearts were filled with hatred. Once they returned to the camp, they would immediately inform the elders of the sect and ask them to send countless experts. They had to tear this despicable aborigine into pieces. If that aborigine still had relatives, friends, or even tribesmen, they would kill them all. The men would be slaves, and the women would be prostitutes. Swoosh! Before they could vent their anger, suddenly, an air-piercing sound came from afar. A black hole appeared in the sky and in the next second, 3 gray arrows flew out. Watch out! Rong Hang's senses were extremely sharp. He immediately felt that something was wrong. Lifting his head, he saw 3 arrows emitting a terrifying killing intent. He couldn't help but shout and warn his 2 companions beside him. But as soon as he said that, an arrow arrived beside him. Dong! His head was instantly pierced by the gray arrow. The terrifying Dharma treasure penetrated his organs, and his head exploded like a watermelon, turning into a pile of minced meat. Rong Hang would never have thought that he would be killed before he even saw the enemy. It was simply unbelievable. The other 2 golden cores had their hearts pierced by the gray arrows. The deathly stillness spread throughout their bodies, robbing and devouring all their vitality. Their eyes were wide open. Fear, shock, indignation, and many other emotions could be seen in the depths of their eyes. They didn't expect that even though they had fled for thousands of kilometers, they still couldn't escape death. With a snap, their necks tilted and they died on the spot. No matter how indignant they were, it turned into nothingness. On the other hand, Xiaoping also sensed that the spiritual imprint on Rong Hang and the other 2 had disappeared. This meant that the 3 of them had lost their vitality. Even a sage couldn't save them. In other words, he had killed 3 golden cores with 3 arrows. He was unparalleled. This was the power of the head-piercing 7 arrows technique. Although it couldn't be used as a main battle technique under normal circumstances, it could easily kill an enemy at a critical moment. At this time, the other elite disciples of the Xiantian sect were also killed. However, they didn't die at Xiaoping's hands. Instead, they killed each other. It was as if they were possessed by hungry ghosts. If they didn't eat a large amount of soil, they would die from being eaten by their fellow disciples. Their deaths were extremely miserable. The power of the 6 Hell Demon Tome was evident. If this divine ability was used on a habitable planet, it would probably turn the habitable planet into a living hell in an instant. Swoosh! Xiaoping's body flashed, and he came to the dead Rong Hang. He found the remaining 4-5 elements spirit talismans. After killing 10 golden cores, he also obtained 10 golden cores, which could be refined into supreme-grade pills. Other than that, these Xiantian sect disciples also left behind a large number of treasures. There were hundreds of inferior-grade spirit weapons, 10 middle-grade spirit weapons, and 1 superior-grade spirit weapon. He also obtained the pills and spirit medicine left behind by the Xiantian sect disciples. He had gained a lot. The value of these treasures was immeasurable. Alright, let's begin. Chapter 1473. Boom! Xiaoping activated the star attraction technique and infused the power of the stars into the 5 elements spirit talismans. Immediately, the 5 talismans quickly merged into one. The 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire and earth emerged, forming a 5 elements array like a 5-pointed star. It slowly rotated in midair and turned into a talisman. This is the key to controlling the 5 elements dragon demon sealing array? Xiaoping grabbed the talisman with his hand. He could feel that this talisman was the key to controlling the planet's array. His divine consciousness immediately penetrated it and refined it in an instant. Immediately, he felt his divine consciousness permeate the entire planet. This super array was under his control. He could use the power of the array at any time, anywhere to cover every corner of the planet. He could even clearly sense the location of the space-time door tens of thousands of miles away. With just a thought, he could activate the power of the array and mobilize the power of the 5 elements of heaven and earth. He could transform it into a dragon and destroy the camp in an instant. What is this place? Suddenly, Xiaoping sensed that there seemed to be an illusory space in the depths of the great matrix. There was a sealing matrix inside that was densely packed with matrix patterns. Chains of the great Tao traversed through the void one after another. It was extremely terrifying. He instantly knew that this space must be the core of the planet. It was also the place where Gaia's consciousness was sealed. Swoosh! With a thought, Xiaoping activated the power of the array and instantly teleported himself into this illusory space. This space was a cage, and there were densely packed sealing runes everywhere. Even a single rune could seal a golden core realm cultivator into a normal person, and they would not be able to use any power at all. This is Gaia? Xiaoping walked in front of the cage and blinked. He actually saw a little girl about 5 or 6 years old in a white dress sleeping soundly in the cage. Although she was just a little girl, that was only on the surface. There were countless sealing runes on her body. This could seal a mighty figure into a powerless wastrel. It was completely imaginable how much terrifying power was contained in her body for the saints to treat her so seriously. All of a sudden she sensed something. She rubbed her eyes and woke up. Then, she got up, and a strand of a hogue stood up on her little head, as if she didn't know what had happened. Then, she turned her head and immediately saw Xiaoping. Instantly, her eyes lit up like stars. "Papa, are you here to save me?" The little loli ran all the way over and hugged Xiaoping's thigh excitedly. "Daddy!" Xiaoping was speechless. The corner of his mouth twitched. When did he become someone else's father? Furthermore, this was Gaia. She had no parents and was raised by the heavens. In primordial times, she would be a chaos demon god. Who could be her father? However, he could indeed sense the kindness and yearning from the little loli. She wasn't lying. In fact, Xiaoping also felt that the bloodline in his body had an inexplicable sense of closeness to Gaia. It was as if they were relatives of the same race. The depths of his bloodline gave off wisps of mysterious and profound fluctuations. "I'm not your father. You can call me brother." Xiaoping wanted to correct this form of address. "Brother? Why?" Little loli blinked her eyes in confusion. Xiaoping straightened his face and said, "There's no why. It's just a form of address." "All right, brother. You're so warm." Little loli hugged Xiaoping's thigh and revealed a very comfortable look. She could feel the scorching pure yang aura in Xiaoping's body. It seemed that staying with Xiaoping could promote her growth and give her endless benefits. Even her soul energy was growing rapidly. Warm. Xiaoping could also sense that Gaia's aura had undergone a completely different change from before. It was constantly improving. He remembered the relationship between the sun and an ordinary life planet. The two complemented each other. It was precisely because the sun provided infinite heat and endless vitality that the planet was full of vitality and countless lives on the planet could reproduce. Therefore, Gaia's closeness to him could be imagined. In essence, Xiaoping was a peerless treasure to Gaia. Just by being by his side, Gaia could obtain endless benefits. Originally, he wanted to use the soul seal to control Gaia. However, now that he thought about it, there was no need for that. "Warm? All right, what's your name?" Xiaoping asked. Little Loli tilted her head, her eyes filled with question marks. Name? I don't have a name, but there was a bad guy who sealed me and seemed to call me Gaia. That's right, it was that bad guy who sealed me and made me stay in this cage. I can't go out or go out. Brother, when you see that bad guy in the future, you must teach him a lesson. She clenched her small fists, thinking of what happened before, and was very angry. Since you don't have a name, then I'll give you one. Seeing that you're so dumb, I'll call you Dumbo from now on. Xiaoping gave Gaia a name. Dumbo. When Green Ox and Corinne heard this name, the corners of their mouths twitched. This was the famous Gaia, yet he was given such a name. If some of the Gaia saints knew about this, they would probably cross regions to kill him. Oh, then I'll be called Dumbo from now on. Little Loli nodded vigorously, seemingly very excited that she had a name. Boom! Suddenly, starlight gushed out of her body like the stars in the sky, illuminating the space. Each starlight seemed to be a mysterious ancient rune, containing mysterious power. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Immediately, these starlights entered Xiaoping's body at lightning speed. Huh, what's this? Xiaoping's body trembled. He felt these starlights instantly fuse into his soul. Immediately, his soul formed an inexplicable connection with Dumbo. A connection was formed between souls. Oh my god, Gaia contract, it's actually Gaia contract. How did it sign so quickly? Corinne couldn't help but cry out. The so-called Gaia contract was a contract unique to the Gaia race. It could be signed with others, sharing life and death, and it could bring endless benefits to the contracted person. Back then, Myriad Star Sect Master wanted to sign a contract with Gaia. So he sealed it, hoping to use time to temper it and make Gaia submit. But back then, his old master used various means and sealed Gaia for tens of thousands of years, but still failed to make Gaia submit. How could he have imagined that Xiaoping, who had just arrived in this space, would make Gaia so intimate, even taking the initiative to use the Gaia contract? How could there be such a big difference between people? Chapter 1474. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. The moment the contract was formed, he felt as if he had become the master of this world, or even the supreme heavenly Tao. He was omnipotent. His soul had even merged with this planet. He could sense every tree, every stone, and even every speck of dust on this planet. These things were under his control, as if they were his own body. Within the range of this planet, he could use all the power within the planet at any time. Even a Thunder Retribution Realm cultivator could be easily pinched to death. Is this the so-called omniscience and omnipotence? Xiaoping felt as if his soul had transformed into a brain. He did not know how many billions of calculations were carried out in a second. His thinking ability was as fast as lightning. In this state, his reasoning ability and logic ability had been greatly improved. All the things that he had been puzzled about in the past seemed to have been cleared up at this moment. He knew that this was not a qualitative improvement of his soul. It was only because his soul had merged with Gaia's body, and he had experienced a part of Gaia's authority. How powerful! Xiaoping exclaimed. He finally understood why the sage wanted to capture Gaia. Gaia's potential was too strong. She was born to be a godlike existence. As long as they were given enough time, they could grow into invincible existences. Moreover, signing a contract with Gaia would allow one to obtain a part of Gaia's power. Even the sage would covet it. Dong! Thinking of this, Xiaoping stretched out his hand and gently tapped on little Loli's body. Immediately, the seal on her body shattered like glass. Controlling the 5 elements Sky Dragon Demon Sealing Formation, he could undo the seal on little Dumbo at any time. The seal has been undone. Little Dumbo was very excited. She found that the power of the formation that bound her body had disappeared. A familiar power surged into her body. She had regained her freedom. As long as she was willing, she could use the powerful power in her body at any time. Brother, hug me. Little Dumbo wants to sleep. Little Loli yawned and hugged Xiaoping's thigh. She seemed to want to sleep again. Although Gaia had been sealed for tens of thousands of years, this amount of time was nothing to Gaia. A normal nap could take thousands of years. It could be said that Gaia was sleeping most of the time. In fact, sleeping was also a manifestation of Gaia's constant evolution. Don't worry. Let's get rid of the enemies on this planet first. We can't let them stay here any longer. A cold light flashed in Xiaoping's eyes. It was time to drive away the people from Mingyue Court, Juntian Church and Xintian School. Although he had killed most of the Xintian sect's elites and perfected golden cores, there were still some Xintian sect disciples who stayed behind to participate in the construction of the Gate of Time and Space, so not all of them died. Enemy. Is he a bad guy? Dumbo blinked its eyes. Yes, they are bad guys. But you don't have to worry about them. Just sleep well. Big Brother will help you take care of them. Xiaoping reached out and patted little Dumbo's little head. He could sense that Dumbo was indeed a child. Although it had been born for hundreds of millions of years, according to the lifespan of the Gaia race, it was only a child of a few years old. Furthermore, she had spent most of her time in a deep slumber in the dense fog star domain. There were no living beings there, and she hadn't come into contact with anything too complicated. Dumbo nodded and actually fell asleep in an instant, with a carefree look on his face. At this moment, at the location of the time-space gate, a small number of disciples from Mingyue Court, Great Sky denomination, and Xintian sect gathered together. Their faces were extremely solemn. This was because they already knew that something had happened to the elite disciples of Xintian sect. They knew that all the perfected golden cores of Xintian sect had been killed, and none of them could escape. I believe everyone knows that something has happened to Xintian sect. In the process of obtaining the Wood Spirit Talisman, they were suddenly attacked by a native. He even killed all the perfected golden cores of Xintian sect. None of them could escape. A perfected golden core of Mingyue Court said in a low voice. His voice was trembling, because this matter was too terrifying. There were 10 perfected golden cores and thousands of sect elites. Even thousands of pigs would not be able to kill all of them in such a short time. Now that they were all dead, and even the perfected golden cores could not escape, one could imagine the danger involved. In the distance, Qiushue and Sume were also in the crowd. When they heard about this matter, of course, they knew who did it. However, they did not expect Xiaoping to really do it and kill all the perfected golden cores of Xintian sect. He was so tyrannical. Right now, Xiaoping was only a true Fire Realm cultivator and was alone. It was hard for them to understand how he did it. However, this way, they knew that Xiaoping was safe and unharmed by Xintian sect. Furthermore, it was not their turn to speak in such a situation. All they had to do was to stand at the side and watch. How is that possible? Are those people from Xintian sect idiots? How could they be ambushed and killed by a native? A perfected golden core of Great Sky sect was puzzled. When the remaining Xintian sect disciples heard those words, their expressions turned ugly. However, they could not refute it. In reality, they did not know how their senior brothers and sisters died. I don't know if they're idiots or not. I only know that no matter how stupid those perfected golden cores are, they would at least know how to escape. I can only say that this planet is filled with unpredictable dangers, and we need to be vigilant. Another perfected golden core of Mingyue Court said, "What's there to be vigilant about? Hurry up and run." 10 golden cores, including the 3 that died earlier. There's a total of 13 dead. Isn't such a death toll enough to make you guys retreat? Some of them wanted to escape as they felt that this place was too dangerous. What are you running for? We're here to build a stable spatial gate. If we run now, wouldn't we fail the mission? Can you bear the punishment of the Sex Elder? Don't say such nonsense. They're already dead. Why are we afraid of punishment? This planet is too dangerous. It's not a place for juniors like us to come to. Didn't the elders say that the strongest person on this planet is only a perfected golden core? Why did such an accident happen? There's a limit to one's strength. No matter how powerful the elders are, they can't possibly know everything. Moreover, don't forget that this is the Fog Star Field. It's a universe mystic realm that even sages can't enter. Who knows what will happen? That's right. If we underestimate this place, we'll all die. Let's run. Go back now. We can't go back. The spatial gate is about to be completed. If we go back now, all our previous efforts will be wasted. I can't accept that. Chapter 1475. Since you don't want to leave, then all of you can stay here. Suddenly, a loud voice appeared above the time and space gate. It buzzed and reached everyone's ears, exuding an ancient, noble, and grand aura. Who is it? The disciples of the three sects who were arguing were shocked. They looked up immediately and saw an illusory projection appear in the air. It was like a god looking down on all living beings. It was Xiaoping. Qiuxue and Sumei immediately recognized that it was Xiaoping's voice and the aura he exuded. Sure enough, this guy was not dead and was unharmed. They also looked up. Who are you? A perfected cultivator of the Golden Core realm from the Great Sky sect shouted angrily. Don't you know that we are disciples of the three saint-level sects and have the support of the sages? If you dare to attack us, you will be the enemy of the Great Sky sect, the Mingyue Pavilion, and the Xintian sect. Don't seek your own death, understand? He was threatening this mysterious figure, pointing out his background and identity. With the support of the sages, he was not a nobody. Once he killed them, it would be like poking a hornet's nest, and endless revenge would come. Who am I? You can call me Wu Wudi. Xiaoping's voice came out and revealed his identity. I can give you 3 breaths to escape. If you don't escape by then all of you will die here. His voice was cold and ruthless. Wu Wudi. What an arrogant name. In front of the sages, who dares to call himself Wu Wudi? Don't you know that this is a taboo? If you dare to appear on the street in our star area and live for 3 seconds, I will change my surname to yours. A perfected cultivator of the Golden Core realm from the Great Sky sect sneered. He felt that this native was very arrogant and a bit like a frog at the bottom of a well. After staying in the fog star area for so long, he did not know how weak he was. Qiuxue and Sumei's mouths twitched. They knew that this guy liked to make up names. Even if he wanted to hide his identity, he did not forget to provoke others. Brother Wu, this is the fog star area, a place where even birds don't shit. Do you want to stay here for the rest of your life? If you're willing to cooperate with us and let us build a space-time gate here, you'll be the hero of our 3 great sections. At that time, you'll be able to do whatever you want in the universe. There are many benefits to cooperating with us. Why don't you consider it? A master in the Gold Core realm of the Juntian sect tried to cooperate with Xiaoping and offered him generous conditions. As long as you are willing, I don't care what you want, even if it is a peerless magic treasure, a 10,000-year-old elixir, or a supreme script, or even if you want to rule a star region. However, the Golden Cores discussed secretly and communicated with their spirit consciousnesses. Senior brother, isn't it a little too much to give so many conditions? Even we perfected Golden Cores don't have such a good thing. How can this native be worthy? How stupid. Can't you just write empty promises? This native didn't know much and was extremely greedy. Just a few words were enough to swindle him and break his willpower. When the space-time gate is built successfully, he'll be a pile of shit that can be trampled to death at any time. Indeed, it's not suitable to have a conflict with this native now. Although I don't know how Rong Hang and the others died, there's no doubt that this native probably has a trump card that can easily kill a master in the Gold Core realm. Now we're no match for this native, but when the elders come, it'll be different. They can suppress this native in an instant. That's right. Let this native run wild now. When the space-time gate is built successfully, he'll know the dignity of a saint-level sect. A small native wants to negotiate with us? He really doesn't know what's going on. Even if we play him to death, he probably won't know what's going on. This time, we'll let him gain some knowledge. The Golden Core realm of the Juntian sect sneered. In an instant, they had completed their thoughts. They wanted to temporarily swindle this native and delay him until the space-time gate was built successfully. Xiaoping looked down calmly. Naturally, he sensed that there were waves of spirit consciousnesses communicating in the void. He guessed that they were conspiring with each other. Perhaps there was some conspiracy. However, he didn't want to pay attention to it. Moreover, it was really underestimating him if they wanted to sway his will with such a small benefit. He said directly, 3 breaths are up. If you don't leave, then die. Wait. The Golden Core realm of the Juntian sect still wanted to say something. Boom. In an instant, in the depths of the void, a big hand crushed down. Countless runes gathered together like a millstone of heaven and earth, emitting chaotic aura and destroying time and space. This was a blow that gathered the power of the planet. With the help of the power of heaven and earth, it surpassed the Golden Core realm, and even surpassed Xia Ping's current cultivation of true fire realm. It had reached an incredible level. The Golden Core realm of the Juntian sect had goosebumps. Feeling a fatal crisis, they wanted to escape. However, it was too late. This palm sealed the sky and locked the earth, locking their chi activity. Moreover, it was extremely fast. When they discovered this palm, it had already crushed down. Dong! Before 5 or 6 Golden Core realm of the Juntian sect knew what was going on, they were hit by this palm. Their whole bodies were shaken into a ball of powder, leaving only 5 or 6 golden cores on the ground. The rest of the disciples of the Juntian sect were also killed by the aftermath. As for the disciples of the Mingyue court, because they stood a little further away and were close to the space-time gate, they didn't suffer too much damage. However, they were also scared out of their wits by the power of this palm. Their faces turned pale. Damn aborigines! The rest of the disciples of the Juntian sect were extremely angry. Before their plot started, it was destroyed by Xia Ping with a slap. Previously, they wanted to use all kinds of tricks to fool him. However, they didn't expect that Xia Ping did not talk nonsense with them at all. He directly attacked and killed 5 or 6 Golden Core realm immortals with one palm. Now they also knew why all the Golden Core realm immortals of the Xintian sect were killed. With such powerful strength, it was a piece of cake for him to kill so many Golden Core realm immortals. Die, all of you! Xia Ping was cold and ruthless. Another palm came from the void, and the momentum was countless times more terrifying than before. Oh no! Run quickly! Hurry up! Run back to the space-time gate immediately, and return to the sect. The disciples of the 3 sects were so scared that they wet their pants. They no longer divided into 2 groups. All of them wished that their parents could give them more legs, hoping to run back to the sect as soon as possible. If they continued to stay here, they would only have a dead end. Qiuxue and Su Mei had already received Xia Ping's voice transmission. They were one step ahead of time at the space-time gate. When Xia Ping made his move, they immediately jumped into the space-time gate and quickly teleported back. Chapter 1476. Dong! The palm came crashing down, covering thousands of miles, instantly shattering the temporary space-time gate into pieces. The formation base was broken, and the disciples of the 3 major sects who hadn't escaped were in despair. However, the despair only lasted for a moment, because the huge palm came crashing down, and they were instantly turned into powder. In an instant, all the buildings in the station were shaken into nothingness, turning into a huge palm-sized pit. Apart from those who had escaped first, all the disciples of the 3 major sects died in this place. Have they gone back? Xia Ping sensed that Qiuxiu and Su Mei's auras had disappeared from this planet, so he knew that they had safely left the dense fog starfield. In order to avoid suspicion, he pretended not to know them, and treated them equally. However, he still waited for them to completely enter the space-time gate before he made his move. The result was very smooth. Not only did he drive all the disciples of the 3 major sects away, but he also sent the 2 back to Mingyue court. At this moment, in the headquarters of the Black Heaven sect, in another area of the space-time gate, countless elders of the Black Heaven sect were guarding this place. The security was tight, and there were powerful restrictions everywhere. Of course, apart from the elders of the Black Heaven sect, some elders of the Mingyue court and the Great Sky sect were also present. After all, they were all partners, so they were naturally very concerned about the dense fog starfield. I wonder what the situation is like in the dense fog starfield. I heard some bad news. A native is stirring up trouble. It's just a native. That's nothing. How can he be compared to us, the disciples of the Black Heaven sect? Sooner or later, we'll kill that native and wipe out that native tribe. You're right. It's only natural that there will be trouble. After all, that place is the dense fog starfield. It's not surprising that there will be problems. As long as the eternal spacetime gate is successfully built, we can continuously send troops into the dense fog starfield. Soon, in another 10 days, the spacetime gate will be completed, and a stable spatial passage that can accommodate Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouses will be built. Then, we can enter and leave the dense fog starfield at will. I hope there will be no accidents. Don't worry, there definitely won't be. This time, we've sent 3,000 elite disciples and more than 30 golden cores from the 3 major sections. No matter how powerful those natives are, they can't turn the situation around. That is indeed the case. It seems like I was worrying too much. Many of the elders' eyes were burning with passion. The dense fog star field was a universe-secret realm, a forbidden land for humans. Since ancient times, not many people knew what was in the dense fog star field. Although the unknown was scary at times, it was also fascinating at times. This was like an undeveloped land that contained endless vitality and treasures. There might be opportunities that could help them become saints. Before these elders could finish speaking, the temporary spatial gate suddenly trembled and released a dazzling light. A spacetime tunnel connected to the distance. What happened? Many of the elders were shocked and immediately looked at the time gate. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the next second, a large number of people fled out of the spatial gate and fell to the ground one by one. Everyone had a look of fear and panic, as though they had just survived a disaster. Why did you come back from the dense fog star region? What exactly happened? Many of the elders immediately sensed that something was wrong, as if something big had happened. Spacetime gate. This is bad. The spacetime gate is broken. Everyone get out of the way. One of the elders shouted, and immediately used a spell. An energy shield instantly enveloped everyone. Boom! The space-time gate immediately exploded into pieces, creating a terrifying explosion. In an instant, a huge crater with a diameter of more than 10 kilometers appeared on the ground. Seeing this, many of the elders' expressions darkened. They knew that they were in big trouble. The destruction of the space-time gate meant that the tunnel into the dense fog starfield had disappeared. This was a huge loss, and it meant that they could no longer safely enter the dense fog starfield. All their previous thoughts turned to nothing like the moon in the water. This was an unbearable weight. Speak, what happened? Why did you run back in such a hurry? Many of the elders stared at the disciples who had escaped. Elders, something big happened. A terrifyingly strong native suddenly appeared and slaughtered all of us. Even the space-time gate was destroyed. Luckily, we ran back in time. Otherwise, we would have died there. A golden core perfected master from Mingyue Pavilion said in relief. Luckily, they had run away quickly. Otherwise, they would have followed in the footsteps of the golden core perfected masters of Xiantian sect and died in that godforsaken place. Wait, where are the disciples of Xiantian sect? Why did only a few of them return? Where are the golden cores? Why didn't any of them return? One of the Xiantian sect elders shouted with a dark expression. Many of the elders' hearts sank as well. They felt that things were getting worse. Elder, they're all dead. The 12 golden core Taoists all died in the hands of that terrifying native. Even the elites of over 1,000 sects were completely wiped out by him. Not a single one of them managed to escape. One of the Xiantian sect's elite disciples said with a trembling voice. Impossible. The Xiantian sect elder screamed. The saint had investigated before. The strongest living being on that planet was only a golden core perfected master. There's no living being stronger than a golden core perfected master. Even if the natives of that planet were very strong, and they weren't their match in a one-on-one fight, all 12 golden cores would turn any perfected master into dust. Who could kill them? He was in disbelief. That native is simply a monster. His martial arts realm seems to be true fire realm, but killing golden cores was as easy as chopping vegetables. We can't match him, many of the Xiantian sect's disciples said in horror. Trash. The elder cursed. A puny native at True Fire Realm could kill them like dogs. They've wasted their cultivation. What a disgrace to the Xiantian sect. He was simply unable to contain his anger. It's not just us. The Great Sky sect also suffered heavy losses. 6 to 7 golden cores died in a single exchange, and hundreds of elite disciples were killed. Some of the Xiantian sect's disciples complained. It wasn't because they were incompetent, but because the enemy was too strong. Many of the Great Sky sect's disciples' faces were as black as charcoal. They had only been in contact with that terrifying native for a short period of time, but it had caused terrifying losses to the Great Sky sect. In fact, if they hadn't been so talkative, there wouldn't have been so many deaths. However, they angered the native. As a result, the golden cores of the Great Sky sect, who had been clamoring earlier, were taken care of and killed with a single slap. They couldn't even escape. What about Mingyue Court? Why can Mingyue Court still maintain so many elites? Chapter 1477. Old man, what do you mean by that? Are you suspecting something? An elder from Mingyue Court clearly sensed the hidden meaning in the Black Heaven sect elder's words, and was immediately very displeased. It's not that I want to suspect anything, but both Black Heaven sect and Great Sky sect have suffered heavy losses. Only Mingyue Court is unscathed. The elder from the Black Heaven sect sneered. I can't help but suspect that your Mingyue Court has reached some sort of agreement with that native, and you're secretly trying to kill the elite disciples of our two sections. He voiced his doubts about Mingyue Court, thinking that there might be a mole in Mingyue Court that caused such losses. Shut up. The Mingyue Court elder glared at him. Do you have proof? Don't spout nonsense if you don't. You're insulting the reputation that Mingyue Court has built up over countless years. Do you want to start a war with Mingyue Court? She clenched her fists, her body surging with a violent aura and murderous intent. The reputation of a sect was not to be taken lightly. No one could blaspheme it. The Black Heaven sect elder snorted, but didn't say anything else. He really didn't have any proof. He was just saying this out of anger to express his dissatisfaction. After all, Black Heaven sect had suffered heavy losses this time. 12 golden core perfected masters, and thousands of elite disciples. Black Heaven sect hadn't suffered such a huge loss for many years. More importantly, even the gate of time and space had shattered, and the spatial coordinates to the Fog Galaxy had disappeared. This meant that they could no longer go to the Fog Galaxy. This was the biggest blow to Black Heaven sect. Elder, you must avenge us brothers. Senior brother Rong Hang, senior brother Fong and the others died so tragically. Their bodies were shattered, and even their golden cores were taken. That native is a beast. He's inhumane and arrogant. He doesn't respect Black Heaven sect at all. That bastard called himself Wu Wudi, and publicly insulted Black Heaven sect's saint. He said that he would kill the saint if he had the chance. If we don't kill him, Black Heaven sect will lose face. Charge into the Fog Galaxy, kill that native and tear him to pieces. Many disciples of the Xiantian sect roared in anger. So many brothers had died, including their friends and family. They had a blood feud with Wu Wudi that was absolutely irreconcilable. Damn it! Many of the Mystic Heaven sect's elders gritted their teeth, wanting nothing more than to capture that native Wu Wudi. The problem was that he was in the dense Fog Galaxy, where even sages could not enter. No matter how much hatred they felt, there was nothing they could do. When they thought of this, they felt even more sullen. That native probably thought of this, which was why he was so fearless and unbridled. Many disciples and elders of the Great Sky sect also hated Wu Wudi to death. Although their losses were not as heavy as those of the Xiantian sect, they still lost half of their golden core perfected masters and hundreds of elite disciples. Mingyue Court was the only party that had suffered relatively little damage. They did not hold much hatred for Mingyue Court. After all, death was a common occurrence in the universe. Furthermore, They were invaders who had come into someone else's territory to flaunt their strength and steal their treasures. That native was only fighting back against the invaders. It was hard to say who was right and who was wrong. If that native didn't have the strength, he would have been killed by the three sects long ago. He might even have been captured alive and kept as a slave, living a life worse than death. No matter what, Mingyue Court, the Great Sky Sect, and the Xiantian sect had completely remembered this aboriginal Wu Wudi. If they had the chance, they would definitely kill this aboriginal to vent their anger. On the other hand, Planet of Five Elements. Xiaoping smashed the space-time gate with one palm, completely cutting off the other party's space passage into the dense fog star field. He immediately felt relieved. It was impossible for them to step into the dense fog star field in a short time. Even if they had a way to step into the dense fog star field, he would have already left with Dumbo Gaia. There was no need to worry. Instead, he was looking forward to them entering the dense fog star field again. If that group of people accidentally encountered the space beasts that lived in the dense fog star field, there would be a good show to watch. They left a lot of good things behind. Xiaoping touched his chin. He found that after the people of the three sects left, there were many materials left behind. Each of these materials was extremely precious. 5 elements: gold, silver, copper, Luohan steel, frost iron, and so on. They were all materials used to build the space-time gate. They had escaped too quickly, and had no time to take them away. Each of these materials was worth a lot of money. What excited Xiaoping the most was that there was a large number of space stones. The so-called space stones were strange ores born from the cracks in the universe. They contained rich space energy. Some space stones could even form their own space. They were extremely precious. The raw materials of those space rings and other storage magic tools were space stones. Even the materials for the transmission array and the space-time gate required a large number of space stones. Now the ground was piled up with densely packed space stones, just like a small hill. The surroundings were filled with rich space energy. This was an extremely astonishing wealth. Moreover, even if he did not sell these space stones, Xiaoping needed a large number of space stones for his cultivation. His star guiding art also needed to swallow a large amount of space energy in order to promote to a higher realm. It could be said that space stones were an indispensable cultivation resource. He did not expect that the three sects would leave such a big gift for him. Oh, that's right, Corinne. Xiaoping turned around and asked Corinne next to him. Isn't this place the Myriad Stars sect's treasure trove? Where is the treasure trove? He looked around, but could not find even a trace of the Myriad Stars sect's treasure trove. It's gone, it's all gone. Those spirit stones, spirit herbs, and all kinds of rare materials are in the headquarters. They have been plundered clean, not a single drop is left. Corinne shook his head, indicating that there were no resources here. But if it's resources, there is nothing that can compare to Gaia. Xiaoping also admitted that no matter how many treasures there were, it would be very difficult to compare to Gaia. Obtaining Gaia was simply equivalent to obtaining the help of a future sage. If a sage-level sect was established, then it would be a mountain guardian beast that no one would dare to provoke. This was the true heritage of a sect. But even so, there is actually a treasure hidden in this place. In fact, it is also the most important treasure on Old Master's body. The reason why he was able to become a sage was all because of that treasure. Corinne sighed with emotion. What? Is there such a thing? Xiaoping was very curious. To be able to make a person become a sage, what kind of powerful treasure was that? His curiosity had reached the peak. In fact, it is in a sealed space on this planet. As long as Master carefully searches for it with divine sense and operates the star guiding art, you can sense its existence. Corinne said, "What kind of magic tool is it?" Xiaoping asked. "You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.